continuing through the afternoon. Adding up all the rainfall, as much as half an inch of rain is likely along the Georgia 400 corridor, and up to 2 inches of rainfall possible on the south side from Noonan to Peachtree City and McDonough.
WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says rain is likely tomorrow as well, so take any umbrellas with you to outdoor graduation ceremonies. Christina will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. A partial train derailment's under investigation near a Smyrna neighborhood.
CSX confirms 17 rail cars on one of its trains went off the tracks near Campbell Road and Nancy Circle, but no hazardous chemicals were released, and there's no threat to the surrounding community. The accident site is tucked behind some trees close to a few homes, but no roads are impacted. The derailment was reported shortly after 2 a.m., and CSX praises the quick response from Cobb County first responders. It's not clear how long the cleanup will take. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
As the world's first American Pope carries out his first full day in the position, celebrations are held here in the U.S. for his appointment. Holy Name Cathedral in Chicago hosts a mass of thanksgiving for Pope Leo XIV. Bishop Lawrence J. Sullivan, the Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Chicago, gave the homily.
We come here today to pray for our new shepherd. And we also come here today to see the election of our Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, as an opportunity.
It comes after the Pope held his first Mass this morning at the Vatican. President Trump changes tone on the possibility of bringing down tariffs against China.
Just days ago, President Trump said that he would not pull back tariffs in order to have substantive negotiations with China. But now the president in this post is signaling that he'd be willing to lower tariffs to 80%.
Selena Wang reports the U.S. currently has a 145% tariff on Chinese imports. Meanwhile, China retaliated with a 125% tariff on U.S. goods. A U.S.-based aid group in Gaza says it's closed all of its soup kitchens as the Israeli blockade on aid leaves them with no food to cook.
The World Central Kitchen was serving more than 130,000 meals per day and baking 80,000 loaves of bread in Gaza over the past weeks, but said it was forced to suspend operations as it has no food to cook.
Linda Gradstein reports Israel established a blockade on humanitarian aid back in March, and Israel claims Hamas has been stealing that aid. A new warning this afternoon, well over a decade after the first recall of Takata airbags. Millions of cars and trucks are still equipped with those faulty and often deadly devices.
The auto industry has known for 16 years that Takata airbag inflators could explode even in a low-speed fender bender, spraying drivers and passengers with plastic and metal. At least 28 people in the U.S. have been killed.
Jim Ryan reports it's estimated that 5.7 million vehicles are still on the roads here in the U.S. with their original Takata airbags. Governor Brian Kemp signs legislation today barring phones from the state's K-8 classrooms, but another local district takes matters into their own hands.
Beginning in the fall, Marietta High School students will have new restrictions on their phone usage, says Superintendent Dr. Grant Rivera.
At this point, the board would like to give students flexibility to have access to their phones during class changes and during the cafeteria. However, there is a zero tolerance policy if students are to pull phones out during instructional time.
Rivera says if a student is caught with their phone during class time, it will be taken and a parent or guardian will have to come and pick it up. Rivera says this will be a pilot program for the fall. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
A portion of a busy road in northwest Atlanta is closed for the next 2 weeks for utility upgrades. The Atlanta DOT says they're starting work on Bolton Road, northwest between Hollywood Road and Marietta Road. That work will be conducted on weekdays lasting through May 23rd. It is 12:04 now, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And moving a little bit better as you approach Midtown. Our crash has been cleared. All lanes back open. 85 south to south of Buford Highway, exit 86. Brake lights thinning out as we speak. We're still slowing and going near Spaghetti Junction on 85 meets 285 into Cab. Going from the inner loop up on 85 northbound. Some heavy brake lights taking you past Jimmy Carter Boulevard. That's exit number 99. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
And now it's time for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Partly to mostly cloudy today, mainly dry, though a pop-up rain shower can't be ruled out. Today's high is 81, lows tonight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, rain showers arrive early in the morning, continuing through the afternoon, high 65, and the rain will continue through Sunday. Morning lows in the upper 50s, daytime highs in the mid to upper 60s. Monday, scattered rain showers and thunderstorms with a high of 71. Tuesday drying out, becoming partly cloudy, high 75.
As you heard earlier, that rain is coming tomorrow. Make sure you bring those umbrellas with you if you have any graduation ceremonies tomorrow, and certainly on Mother's Day as well for those celebrations there. It is 77 degrees right now in South Fulton, 73 in the city of Dunwoody, and 76 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is cheddar. CHEDDAR, cheddar, like the cheese. Enter the keyword cheddar into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is cheddar. CHEDDAR. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Cheddar's the keyword. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Yes, I'm in Southern Pines, North Carolina at our affiliate WEEB, broadcasting live. Glad to have you with me today. It's an open line Friday, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, it is Eric Erickson, just in case you were wondering, and yes, that's my real name. Okay, I want to put a nice tidy bow on Habamos Papam so we can move on to other news, because there's a lot of other news here. But there is news, and I have to correct the record. ABC News led me astray yesterday. It is with great sadness that I have to correct the record. And it is with great sadness that I have to reveal to you one of the worst things you will learn about new Pope Leo XIV, and that is that he is not a Cubs fan, as originally reported by the news. He is a White Sox fan. The Seventh-day Adventists might be right. He might actually be the Antichrist. But a buddy of mine pointed out that if the Pope is a White Sox fan, that's very Christ-like, given how many losers Jesus hung out with. So, I mean, there is that. So he has given his first homily now, and I realize that there are like over half of you who are Baptist or Presbyterian are like, we don't care. But you can get a sense of who this new world leader is. And there's a larger point here, so bear with me, but let me read you part of his homily. Even today, there are many settings in which the Christian faith is considered absurd, meant for the weak and unintelligent. Settings where other securities are preferred, like technology, money, success, power, or pleasure. There are contexts where it is not easy to preach the gospel or bear witness to its truth, where believers are mocked, opposed, despised, or at best tolerated and pitied. Yet precisely for this reason, they are the places where our missionary outreach is desperately needed. A lack of faith is often tragically accompanied by the loss of meaning in life, the neglect of mercy, appalling violations of human dignity, the crisis of the family, and so many other wounds that afflict our society. Today, too, there are many settings in which Jesus, although appreciated as a man, is reduced to a kind of charismatic leader or superman. This is true not only among non-believers, but also among many baptized Christians, who thus end up living at this level in a state of practical atheism. Then he goes on to point out that Jesus may be man, but also fully God. That's a good start, the first words. But my point here in bringing this up is to put a bow on this and the conversation. There is a lot today of people trying to interpret the Pope, claim ownership of him as an American. It's very funny. A friend of mine, true story, a friend of mine who is from Chicago, it turns out that her son's godparents' neighbor, you get this, her son's godparents' neighbor. So her and her husband's friend, who's the godparent to her son, his neighbor taught the Pope in school. And this is a big deal. This is the most Chicago thing ever. That so-and-so's neighbor's milkman's brother's sister's provider of organic honey and eggs somehow knew the Pope back in the day on the south side of Chicago. He's from the south side of Chicago. So probably this is no surprise. The man supports gun control. He was an advocate as a cardinal in the United States of gun control. He's also an advocate of illegal immigration, not necessarily in defense of illegal immigration, but just they must be treated with compassion. They are refugees. They should be treated seriously. Many of them should be allowed to stay, and that's got conservatives upset. But now the New York Times is attacking the new pontiff because he is against gay marriage. He is against same-sex adoptions. He's against single-parent adoptions. He's against transgenderism. He worked to block legislation when he was a bishop in Peru that would have embraced transgenderism. And so the left hates the guy for its politics. The right hates the guy for its politics. And I'm looking at this saying, he's a pope. He's a pope. I'm a Presbyterian. What do I care? Except he's a pastor of Catholics. I want to put this in perspective for you. Literally. And when a lot of people use literally and they don't mean literally. It's just the thing they say. Literally, they literally say this all the time. Literally, the pigs fly. No, that's not literally, but literally, actually. Did you know the office of the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, is the oldest existing institution on planet Earth? Except for one, the Emperor of Japan. The Emperor of Japan predates the rise of the pontiff by about 100, 200 years, but the Bishop of Rome started in 30 AD with Peter, and has gone ever since. And in fact, the pontiff, the actual role of pope, is the oldest institution still existing on planet Earth. It predates the Emperor of Japan. The pontiff, the role of pontiff actually began in 509 BC during the early Roman Republic. It actually began with the kings of Rome, predating the Roman Republic, moved into the Roman Republic, the Pontifex Maximus of Rome. Then Julius Caesar took the title for himself. Augustus took the title for himself. And it was a role that was given to every emperor up to Theodosius II, who then passed it off to the Bishop of Rome and said, this title belongs to you, as the Roman Empire separated between the East and the West. The role of pontiff is literally the oldest still existing institution on planet Earth, starting in 509 BC. In 440 AD, the actual Bishop of Rome, Leo I, we're now on the 14th Leo I, was given the title by the Emperor of the Eastern Roman Empire and has kept it ever since. All of this little history lesson is to tell you some institutions are older than the United States of America, and I know that surprises some of you. And maybe we shouldn't be using our politics of the here and now to try to interpret a place and time for an institution and the man that represents the institution that is the representative head of the oldest still existing institution on planet Earth. That's all I'm saying. And it's wild to me, and this was, remember when Pope Francis died, I told you what was going to happen, is that the American media would be incapable of showing and covering and watching and viewing and interpreting what was going on without the red-blue lens, without the American political left-right divide. There is something fascinatingly American about this. I remember growing up overseas and we have a lot of, it was always the Canadians in particular. The Canadians are the most resentful of the idea that we are called Americans. Because don't you know, they're Americans too. Which is fatuous nonsense. But it makes them feel superior being our top hat to say that they are Americans too. They're not. They're Canadians. They're Canadians. No one else calls themselves Americans. And I saw a guy, actually, he was a reporter for the New York Times, a European reporter in the Vatican for the New York Times. I think it was the New York Times. Might have been the Financial Times, but I think it was the New York Times yesterday saying, the Americans are going to learn that they're not the only Americans, and this is the second American Pope. Because Pope Francis was from Argentina. But I don't know a single, and I know many Argentinians. They are wonderful steak-loving people. I don't know a single Argentinian who considers himself an American. I don't know any American who considers themselves a United Statesian. We're Americans. But so it's been wild, this international dichotomy. Actually, he's the second American pope. No, he's the first American pope, and he's from Chicago, the new Vatican City. It's like now the second holiest city on, well, actually it's the holiest when you consider all the bullet holes on the south side, but it's the second holiest city in America now, or in the world. It's New Vatican City. And he's American. And apparently we're all going to hell for putting ketchup on hot dogs now. I guess I'm going to burn. I'm sorry. I'm not a mustard guy. I'm a ketchup guy. But nonetheless, I digress. We should not be looking at the institution of Pope through American political lenses. And the media can't help itself, and so many people can't help themselves. And there's this Rorschach test on where you belong today, on how you view this guy. I don't know. He became Pope yesterday. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I know my history. I can give you the history, but I don't play Twitter expert on papal politics or the Vatican. And I'm certainly not going to interpret my politics through. There's going to be stuff I like about the guy, probably. There's going to be stuff I don't like about the guy. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm a Presbyterian. I don't have to go confess my sins to a priest. I just call up Jesus when I'm on my knees. It's the benefit of being a Presbyterian. It's like being a Baptist, except I don't have to be ashamed at the liquor store. So we can move on now from this point. We've exhausted the terrain. We have a new pope. History has been made. Leo XIV from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago, an unrepentant White Sox fan. It's going to take an act of God Almighty himself for the White Sox. You know, if the White Sox do start winning, I might have to convert to Catholicism, because it'll mean the Pope's got some real access to God that we Presbyterians don't have. So I'm probably never going to convert to Catholicism then. But we'll see where this thing goes. Now, we've got lots of other stuff we have to talk about, including we'll take your phone calls, 877-973-7425. We've also got to talk about the president's tax plan. Republicans in the House and Senate are sabotaging each other at this point. And as I continue to say, and it continues to be one of the most endearing characteristics about Donald Trump, that you know, I mean, I have so many Trump supporters like, oh, you hate him, you have Trump derangement syndrome. I've given the man way more money than any of these people have. I've supported him regularly. I just disagree with him on some stuff. But the thing that I absolutely find the most endearing thing about Donald Trump is the House and the Senate are so frustrated every time they call Donald Trump to ask him to weigh in on the tax plan. He's like, I found another tax we can get rid of. God bless him. They should get rid of them all. But the House guys are now actually considering raising taxes. That might start a civil war among the Republican Party if they actually raise taxes. They're thinking of raising taxes on people who make either $1 million or $2 million a year or more. Now, you may say, well, I mean, that doesn't affect me. We got to do something. Except the problem is more than 70% of jobs in this country for small businesses are made by people whose incomes fall into that bracket. Because, you know, if you're an entrepreneur and you're set up as a single member LLC like I am, your company income and your personal income affect your bottom line, and you can see massive taxes on small business owners because they run small businesses, and on paper it looks like they got great income. This is going to become a real problem for the GOP, and the conservatives are out there saying absolutely not. I was a little disappointed to see Andy Harris come out on Maria Bartiromo this morning and say, well, you know, if we can't do stuff, I've long said we should just go back to jacking up tax rates on high-income earners. I mean, look, even I'm like, yeah, maybe Jeff Bezos can pay some more taxes. But when you're in that $1 million, $2 million range, you're actually talking about high-income earning entrepreneurs. And they create 70% of the jobs in this country. And you're penalizing them to expand a welfare state, because that's the other problem here. The Republicans don't want to transform, reform, or fix Medicaid. There are able-bodied men living in their parents' basement right now on Medicaid. Chip Roy, the congressman from Texas, is pushing a reform plan on this, and the Republican leaders are like, we can't do this. It'd be bad press if we fixed it. Even Barack Obama, you know what? This is what Chip Roy has done. I'm not making this up. Chip Roy has advanced Barack Obama's reform plan for Medicaid. Barack Obama, when he was a member of the Senate and President of the United States, sought to reform Medicaid by ensuring that able-bodied 20 and 30-somethings couldn't get Medicaid. If they could work and get a job, they weren't qualified for the highest payment tier of Medicaid. Chip Roy's tossed the proposal. It's been rejected by House Republican leaders. At what point do the Republicans, what point are they just Democrats in actual practice?
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 on the Cool Ray Carrier traffic center. Still seeing some delays in Doraville, 285 East, merging at 85 North. Seeing the brake lights from Beaufort Highway up 85 North toward Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. And starting to slow down through the work zone, leaving the mall of Stonecrest. Got a bit of a brake light stretch here. I-20 westbound. You're slow from Evans Mill Road, just past Panola Road, exit 74 and 71. This word sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save on stunning florals at Whole Foods Market. Prime members get 15 stem tulips for $9.89 each through May 13th. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. The noon keyword is cheddar. CHEDDAR, cheddar, like the cheese. Enter the keyword cheddar into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is cheddar. CHEDDAR. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Cheddar's the keyword. Good luck.
Trust is not just a word. It's an experience. When your home needs service, you can trust TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. TE is the company I trust to fix any problem once and for all, and I don't say that lightly. I really do love my home. It's my baby. My family lives there. When somebody's there working, I can hover a little bit. I can supervise a little bit. They love that. I usually worry a little bit too, but with TE Certified, I don't have to do any of that. They actually love my home too. I am a TE Certified customer, so I speak from my own experience when I say you can trust them too. Their 5-star customer experience means easy online scheduling, friendly technicians, a lifetime workmanship warranty. When TE's at the Chandler house, I just sit back and relax, let them handle everything. When it comes to my home, trust matters.
TE Certified, we love your home.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. Now, I get a checkup every year, and last autumn, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number in my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, don't be shy. Level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often to spot trouble while we still have an option to deal with them. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual imaging's LDCT whole body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their LDCT body scan for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Appointments must be scheduled in May. There are a limited number of scans available at that price, so a few minimum requirements may apply. I'm living proof that preventive medicine can save lives, so don't put this off, especially with this offer from Virtual Imaging. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. So don't put this off. Schedule this virtual imaging LDCT whole body scan for just $995 during the month of May, while you still have options.
Novelist Robert Louis Stevenson said, "Sooner or later, we all sit down to a banquet of consequences." He's exactly right. Every decision, every action, every word comes with consequences. Pretending they don't hurts you in the long run. Make your move now, before the banquet. Confess what you need to confess and ask God for his forgiveness and help. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Scott Slade here from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you're going to be able to get it into the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Okay, one more side note on this Pope story before we move on from the New York Times. He's not just the first American Pope. He is also like the second black Pope, according to the New York Times. Y'all, Robert Francis Prevost, the Chicago-born cardinal selected on Thursday as the new pope, is descended from Creole people of color from New Orleans. Don't you love that? Creole people of color from New Orleans. The Pope's maternal grandparents, both of whom were described as black or mulatto in various historical records, lived in the city's 7th Ward, an area that is traditionally Catholic and a melting pot of people with African, Caribbean, and European roots. The grandparents, Joseph Martinez and Louise Baquet, eventually moved to Chicago in the early 20th century and had a daughter, Mildred Martinez, the Pope's mother. The discovery means that Leo XIV, as the Pope will be known, is not only breaking ground as the first U.S.-born Pope, he also comes from a family that reflects the many threads that make up the complicated and rich fabric of the American story. Oh, my. Well, listen, he's a diverse, and you know what? Is this not the story of the United States? This is kind of, there's a race angle here we can play. Actually, there's a very American angle we can play. As my buddy Joe Cunningham, who's the program director over in Lafayette, points out, we don't know if this means he puts tomatoes in his gumbo or not. Do not put tomato in your gumbo. We have no idea. Creoles are the city slickers of Cajun country, and they would put tomato in stuff. The Cajuns do not put tomato in their gumbo, nor should you, wherever you are, put tomato in your gumbo. I have this great argument with my friend Donna Brazil when we were at CNN, and I was like, Donna, you don't put tomato in your gumbo, and she did. I was like, well, I mean, you're not authentically Cajun if you don't put tomato in your gumbo, people. I don't know if the Pope does or not, but I bet he makes a pot of gumbo. Nonetheless, we'll move on now, and I'll tell you about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is my bank. They would love to be your bank. They are a conservative bank, run by conservatives. They are for conservatives. They can do business accounts, personal accounts, checking, savings, you name it. If your kid needs a bank account, go to oldglorybank.com, fill out the form for your kid, get a custodial account. It's no-fee checking, no-fee savings. It's a great way for them to start putting their money somewhere. They can even learn how to deposit cash, because unlike other online banks, you can deposit cash at Old Glory Bank. So their lawn work money, their babysitting money, the like, can be deposited very easily at 88,000 retail locations around the country. They've got a great app. Teach your kids to use the app. They've got great budgeting tools, all of it. And they do home loans, car loans, CDs, you name it, oldglorybank.com. You can go to oldglorybank.com, fill out your account, get started. If you're a business, they're very hands-on with businesses. If you're conservatives, look, they're by conservatives, for conservatives. They're against debanking trends. They're going to protect you. Oldglorybank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. When we come back, the details on the tax plan are starting to annoy me. They'll probably annoy you. I should at least get you up to speed so you can raise holy hell with your member of Congress if they're a Republican. The Republicans are beginning to sabotage Donald Trump's tax cut plan, making it difficult to get it passed.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 12:30. I'm Austin Eller. This news brought to you by Jim Ellis Automotive. Our top local story, murder suspects from Memphis, Tennessee are arrested in Marietta. Police in Memphis tracked them to Metro Atlanta and contacted Marietta police. A Marietta SWAT team located 24-year-old LaCameron Jenkins at a home on Crest Ridge Drive, and while searching for him, they discovered narcotics in plain sight. 3 other suspects are then taken into custody. They are all facing drug-related charges in Marietta, while 2 of them are charged with murder in Memphis. As Pope Leo begins his new role, the American cardinals who voted in the papal conclave sit down to discuss his election as the first American pope in history. Former Archbishop of Atlanta, Wilton Gregory, responded when asked if the conclave had any connection to American politics.
I didn't sense in the conversations that I had with the other cardinals of the world that the conclave was seen as a continuation of the American political election.
Meanwhile, the Pope held his first Mass this morning as celebrations continue across the world. Delta Airlines is buying a 15% stake in WestJet, part of a broader partnership that includes Korean Air. The total deal is worth $550 million, and Delta has the right to sell a portion of its stake to Air France-KLM. Delta and Korean have been code share partners with WestJet for years. The Atlanta-based airline says that new deal will expand customer benefits and strengthen connectivity between Canada and North America, Europe and Asia, and beyond. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather up next. It's 12:31.
Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it squeaking and whining for attention? Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is here with same-day repair service. Experienced technicians have been servicing homeowners in Atlanta since 1935. That's 90 years. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta can handle all your garage door and opener needs. For same-day repair service, schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com or call 404-USA-DOOR.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Turn your backyard into your family's favorite hangout to have fun, entertain, and celebrate this summer in a Bullfrog hot tub from Brown's Pools and Spas. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy system, allowing you to customize each seat to fit every body in your family. Right now, shop the Memorial Day hot tub sale. Instant rebates up to $2,500 or a free audio upgrade on select models. Hurry, offer ends May 27th. You'll be so glad you went to Brown's Pools and Spas. BrownsPools.com.
Mother's Day is this Sunday, and you could be running out of time to find the perfect gift, except you're in Atlanta, and that means D. Geller & Son Jewelers has you covered. This is Jonathan Geller, and we've been making Mother's Day magic happen since 1939. This year, that means we just put out our best selection of clearance jewelry, like a pearl and diamond necklace that was $645 is now $345. Even a 1-carat pair of natural diamond studs is just $475. Come shop with us in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
It's 12:34. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Watching some new brake lights heading through East Point. Got a stall blocking a center lane 75-85 north, just north of University Avenue. That's exit 244. Adding some extra brake lights in your ride, passing by the airport. No need for an alternate. Just plan for some extra commute time heading downtown. Southbound of the connector not looking any better. Brake lights backing you past on 85 proper. You're slowing and going in that all the way down towards Freedom Parkway. And the brake lights leaving Doraville into Norcross still active. 285 East merging at 85 north. Slowing from Buford Highway, merging up towards Indian Trail Road, exit 101 on 85 proper. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover today, high 81. Rain showers arrive early tomorrow morning.
It's 79 degrees in Conyers, 74 in Norcross, and 77 in Midtown. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation, coming to you live from WEEB in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Pinehurst is calling, and yet there are no tee times. There are a bajillion people up here playing golf, and the golf courses look amazing. Now, so before I get into the tax complaint, can I just note, I don't watch The View because I'm a sane person. I don't want to watch insane people. I've got friends who are on the show who I just disagree with on all sorts of stuff. And I one time got asked, do you think you might want to come on? And I was like, absolutely not. There's no way on God's good earth I would ever want to do that to myself. But apparently Joe and Jill Biden were on the show yesterday, and as much as some of the people on that show insist that everything was fine, I've seen the clips, and they're not like highly edited clips. There's Joe Biden is the Joe Biden we've always seen, and finally the Democrats are like, yeah, there's something there. When the Alex Thompson, Jake Tapper book comes out, and it comes out soon, I'm going to be interested in the revelations in there and the cover-up over Joe Biden, because there very clearly was a cover-up about Joe Biden and who is going to be held accountable in the Democratic Party. This is one of the things I continue to believe. The Democrats just don't understand that. They're like, well, Donald Trump's not that popular anymore. His popularity is greater. Yes, but your popularity is even worse than his because you lied to people for 4 years, you wrecked the economy, and you covered up a derelict, drooling dementia patient. They don't seem to get it. And every single time that that Joe Biden rears his head, it's just further proof that he never should have been president. He wasn't fit. They lied. Now, we'll get back to that. I'll take your phone calls as well, 877-973-7425. But I got to talk about this tax stuff first, because I've had some really discouraging conversations with some conservatives in the House and the Senate who are deeply disturbed by what's going on. The blue state Republicans have run the numbers, and they have realized that their states will get a tax cut if they let Donald Trump's tax cuts expire. And there are enough of them to kill the tax plan. And you've got to be aware of that. Let me explain to you. Up until Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts, you could deduct 100% of your state and local taxes from your income tax. Now, let me give you an example of this. So when I do real time with Bill Maher, it's been a while since I've been out there, but they pay you the union wage. You got to fill out all this paperwork every time you go, and you get $1,000 roughly. And when you ultimately get your check for having been on the show, it deducts L.A. city taxes, L.A. county taxes, state of California taxes, state of Georgia taxes, federal taxes, and you basically go from $1,000 to about $550. Literally, L.A. city, L.A. county, California, Georgia, and the federal government, taxes are all taken out. Now, when I would fill in for Rush and I would go to New York City, we had a calculus for going up to New York and being able to broadcast from there, because New York has a rule. You can earn up to $10,000 in the state of New York. Being from another state, you don't have to file state income taxes in New York. In California, if you make $1 in California, you have to file state income taxes in California. So if ever I go out to California to do TV and I get paid for it, I got to file income taxes in California for the privilege of having gone to California to do something. It's absurd. California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, they have some of the highest taxes in the country. up until 2017, you could deduct 100% of your state and local taxes on your federal income tax form. So, for example, if you paid $10,000 in state and local taxes in California, you could deduct that in your federal income tax and dramatically lower your bill. So your federal income tax essentially was subsidizing high-income states. High-income states could have very high tax rates, and the voters typically didn't feel it because they deducted 100% of their state and local taxes on their federal income tax. When Donald Trump and the Republicans decided to pass the reconciliation and get the tax cuts through in 2017, they got rid of that. They reduced it substantially. So you can still deduct some, but I think it's like the $10,000. I think that's it, nothing higher. The blue state Republicans, the Mike Lawlers of the world, the Young Kims of California, Mike Lawler, New York, Young Kim in California, they've run the numbers. And they've realized now, if the president's tax cuts are allowed to expire at the end of the year, the people of California and New York get a tax cut because it'll go back to 100% deduction of state and local taxes on federal income taxes. And for most people in those states, that matters. So they're willing to blow up the president's tax cuts so that their states get tax cuts. They want your state that is fiscally responsible to subsidize the fiscal irresponsibility of New York and California. But it's not just them. Moderate Republicans in the House don't want to cut Planned Parenthood. Moderate Republicans in the House of Representatives are signaling that if Planned Parenthood funds are cut, they'll vote against reconciliation. That's right. They want the abortion provider provided for. Now, there's actually new data out on Planned Parenthood yesterday that Planned Parenthood is now spending as much money on gender transitions and drugs for gender transitions as on abortions. Because now that the death cult has gotten out of abortion in many states, they're helping kids transition. It's a backdoor abortion. You're sterilizing kids so they can't have kids. It's what Planned Parenthood does. They're a cult of death. They're the high priests of the cult of death. So now that they're not performing abortions in some states, they're just sterilizing kids. And you've got House Republican moderates who want to continue to fund them. Now, on top of all of that, the other day, word came that Donald Trump called the Speaker of the House and encouraged him to raise taxes on upper-income earners over $1 million. The president has subsequently, if you got the show notes today, if you text DATA to 33777, you get the show notes today. And there's a story, Maggie Haberman from the New York Times, citing the president, confirming that he called Mike Johnson back and said, actually, maybe we don't want to do that publicly. The president is saying probably not a good idea. But if the House Republicans do want to raise taxes on the rich, it will make the rest of the plan easier to get through. There are House Republicans who are now openly talking about raising taxes on wealthy Americans. They create 70% of the jobs in the country, and we're going to punish them for being successful. And we've got this weird class warfare nonsense now from some middle-class Republicans who are like, yeah, screw the rich. We want a tax cut. Screw the... How is this the Republican Party? How is this the Republican Party? You want to subsidize blue states. You want to fund Planned Parenthood. You want to raise taxes on the wealthy. And the kicker is they don't want to refund Medicaid. As I mentioned earlier, Chip Roy, the congressman from Texas, is touting Barack Obama's Medicaid reform plan. Barack Obama, when he was a senator, offered to reform Medicaid by ensuring that able-bodied 20 and 30-somethings were not qualified for Medicaid. That's all Chip Roy is doing, is saying if you're able to get a job and you can get a job, you should not be able to offset 100% of your health care to Medicaid. That's a common sense reform for Medicaid. that's not even something crazy. That's not even like throwing people off Medicaid. That's just saying if you're an able-bodied person, you should be able to go find a job and get health care in some way. Get an Obamacare plan. My God, the government's forcing everybody into Obamacare. Go pay $20 a month for a basic Obamacare plan. Get off Medicaid. And House Republican leaders don't want to touch it. House Republican leaders have decided it would be a bad thing because the Democrats would say nasty things about them on TV and radio and in the newspaper. Those mean Democrats would say the Republicans are throwing people off Medicaid. Throw their butts off Medicaid. I think most Americans would be fine with it. Mom and Dad don't want you in their basement anyway. At what point, so I get attacked regularly by people who don't like that I'll occasionally criticize Donald Trump. I've given him way more money than these people who say I'm some sort of rhino. I've given Donald Trump way more money than pretty much anyone who's ever come up to me and said, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You don't like the guy. I criticize everybody, including Donald Trump. I supported him. I gave him money. He's not flawless. I'm willing to criticize him. Who's the real rhino here? Me, who thinks the Republicans should stand for what the Republican Party stands for, are these yahoos in Congress who've decided we're going to raise taxes, not cut Medicaid, and fund Planned Parenthood. I thought that was the Democratic Party. And in the process, they're sabotaging President Trump's tax cuts. If we can't get the tax cuts done, it's going to slow down the economy because one of the things the president premised his tariffs on was tax cuts. Particularly at the corporate level and at the job creator level. If you reduce their tax burden in the income tax, it eases the burden of tariffs. That's why it's wild for the House Republicans to suddenly be thinking about raising taxes on the job creator class because they're the ones who need the relief from the tariffs for their businesses. And if they don't get it, it's going to hurt the economy. We got to get the tax cuts done. They don't want to. These are the rhinos. These are the people who are operating like the Democrats. How is it that Republicans are giving a pass to the Republicans to fund Planned Parenthood, which uses its money against the GOP, and use tax cuts on the wealthy, and refuse to even do the basic reforms that even Barack Obama supported on Medicaid? It's wild to me that House Republicans are to the left of Barack Obama on entitlement reform. They just don't want to touch it. If they're not willing to touch this stuff, they're not going to get a good tax plan. If they're not going to get a good tax plan, combine a bad tax plan with tariffs, you're going to slow the economy. They need to stand up on this. They need to follow the lead of a guy like Chip Roy. They need to make cuts. Rand Paul yesterday said we can't continue to spend $2 trillion more a year than what we bring in. He's right. At some point, they're going to sabotage themselves. We were promised an extension of the tax cuts. The Senate Republicans want to make these tax cuts permanent, and they should. That will force the Democrats in the future to take a very difficult vote on the tax cuts. But right now, you can't get the House Republicans on the same page. And those blue state Republicans are the ones willing to let it all die. Those blue state Republicans are the ones who are out there saying, if we just let this collapse, our states are going to get a tax cut. It's also why small margins in the House matter. We got to boost the number of Republicans so that we can outweigh those blue state Democrats. Mike Johnson, God bless him, he's going to have to figure out a path through this. Raising taxes is a bad idea. Refusing to cut Medicaid is a bad idea. Americans for Prosperity is fighting for the president's common sense tax reforms. In fact, Americans for Prosperity in the last 24 hours has begun to rally its base to call members of Congress and tell them do not raise taxes and also do some basic reforms of entitlements to save the country from bankruptcy. They would love to have you involved. You can go to AmericansForProsperity.org today. AmericansForProsperity.org. Sign up with AFP, become an activist. You could just be the most informed person in your circle of friends. Or you can learn how to reach out to Congress or your local government and tell them to get on board common sense conservative reforms, including the tax cuts. AmericasForProsperity.org. They've got chapters in just about every state. I'm here in North Carolina broadcasting from Southern Pines. My affiliate here, they've got a North Carolina chapter. They've got a Georgia chapter, Texas, Florida, all around the country. I think in all but now 2 states they've got chapters. They would love to have you involved. They would love to have you engaged. They'd love to keep you informed of the latest common sense conservative solutions. You want solutions. You don't just want to complain about stuff. You want to get stuff fixed. You can fix it with AFP. Join Americans4Prosperity.org. The website again, Americans4Prosperity.org. I am on their board of advisors. We would love to have you get involved with AFP.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
12:50 in the Cool Ray Carrier traffic center. Better news on the south side of things on the connector. 7585 north had that stall just clear from University Avenue. Exit 244 delays thinning out quite nicely through here. But as you're heading to the downtown connector through Midtown, new stall in a center lane right here. 7585 south. Right approaching 17th Street. Exit 251. Already starting to see some brake lights packing in, passing you past Howell Mill Road. Exit 252. This report sponsored by Active Pest Control. Termites are one of the most destructive pests. Let Active Pest Control develop a custom termite control plan for your home. For a free quote, visit ActivePestControl.com today. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
That's amazing.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every
This
weekday.
is Dawn in Brazelton, and I just won $1,000 from WSB.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app.
Your next chance to win is coming up at 2.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
On 95.5 WSB.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Smash burgers are all the rage these days. I love to make them too. I got one of those Weber griddles, and you could just make them, and gosh, they're crispy, they're thin. Stack 2 of them together, put cheese between both of them. Your family loves them. Omaha Steaks right now is going to give you 16 free smash burgers with their Built for the Grill pack. You go to omahasteaks.com/smash, SMASH. You can make them in a skillet, you can make them on the grill, you can make them on the griddle if you got a griddle, and they turn out perfect however you do them. They're flavorful, they're beefy, they are 100% premium aged Omaha Steaks beef for exceptional quality and flavor from America's Butcher. Get ready to smash expectations with the new Omaha Steak Burgers. Go to omahasteaks.com/smash. order the Built for the Grill pack, you'll get 16 free smash burgers. That's 16 free smash burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details. Y'all, these are amazing.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Let's go to Edgewater, Florida. Eric is on the phone. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Great day to be alive and listening to you on the radio, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.
I just wanted to point out the real story that the New York Times missed. I think it's kind of funny that Trump starts talking about creating some tariffs, and we have the first pope made in the USA. What do you think of that?
Yeah, listen, I mean, that is the upside of tariffs. Think of what the Vatican is on the verge of bankruptcy. Had they had a non-American pope, the tariffs on the Vatican probably would have completely bankrupted them. So it made perfect sense. Yeah, listen, not a bad idea, Eric. Look, I appreciate the phone call, too. First American pope after tariffs are imposed. So there was a wild Wall Street Journal story. I believe it was from 3 days ago on the financial problems in the Vatican. And that when an auditor came in, one of the departments of the Vatican was so upset that the auditor was questioning how they were spending money and restricting how to spend money that they went and withdrew $500,000 from the bank and put it in a shopping bag. $500,000. Put it in a shopping bag and the personal account of the cardinal in charge of that operation, because that particular operation was in charge of funding Catholic missionaries, including in sensitive countries where Christians aren't supposed to be, and they didn't trust the auditor, so they put $500,000 basically in a grocery bag, so that they could then send the money to the missionaries who were in these sensitive areas without it being documented by the auditor. And the auditor was just, his mind was blown when he went looking for the $500,000, and it was there. It was in the shopping bags. They hadn't misspent it. They just didn't trust him, and he had to go to the Pope. And the Pope had to tell the cardinal in charge to put the money back in the bank. It just, the Vatican has all sorts of serious problems. Like, for example, they've got, take the Statue of David and these priceless works of art. And according to this Wall Street Journal report, they list them at $1 a piece. The value of these priceless works by Michelangelo and Raphael and others, they list them at $1 a piece on the Vatican books, because they consider them to be art of no value. They don't have a monetary value. It's just wild to me. And they're having to pay insurance on them. Insurance to protect them. Insurance to preserve. I don't know why they're going to pay insurance on stuff that, you're never going to get it replaced, and yet they're paying insurance on it. And they've got all sorts of financial problems. This new pope is going to have a massive financial crisis on his hand. And it's the speculation is one of the reasons they get an American pope is because the biggest donors to the Catholic Church are now in the United States. And having an American pope who knows how to network with them and raise money from them will be useful to help them to rebuild the coffers. Because, when you're a church, you can't exactly tax anybody. You got to get them to give money. So it's just, it's one of the wild segues there. Now, when we come back, we've got to shift gears and other stuff. We've got Judge Jeanine. The president finally did pull Ed Martin's nomination, and now he's improving Fox News and the U.S. Attorney's Office at the same time by bringing over Judge Jeanine to be the new U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. How many more people from Fox News are we going to see in the administration, and why are there no Newsmax people? What does he have against Newsmax and OAN? Inquiring minds want to know.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare.
Maybe you've heard joining Medishare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. Medishare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 1 o'clock, I'm Austin Eller. This news brought to you by Window Nation. Our top story, it's another brief air traffic control outage at one of the nation's busiest airports.
Air traffic control radar screens went black at Newark Liberty International Airport shortly before 4 Friday morning. One controller told a FedEx flight,
"If you care about this, contact your airline and try to get some pressure for them to fix this stuff."
As heard on Live ATC.net, hours after Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy pledged a modernization.
Brian Clark reports technology problems have created a travel nightmare at Newark over the past few weeks. It is 77 degrees right now in Midtown. A bit cloudy today ahead of that rainy weekend coming. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Retired Supreme Court Justice David Souter has died. He was 85 years old. He was appointed to the court by President George H.W. Bush in 1990, then retired in 2009. He continued to sit on the Court of Appeals for the First Circuit for more than a decade after that retirement. That seat was eventually replaced by President Obama's nomination of Justice Sotomayor. Local residents gather for the planting of a new community farm in southeast Atlanta.
The new Leela Valley Community Farm is a historic project, according to Dr. Alan Ferguson with Atlanta Housing.
This area, this neighborhood, this community is right for people to come, for people to grow, and to people to thrive.
The 7.4-acre site will provide access to fresh local foods to residents who live in the area, like Celeste Lomax.
We're actually going to have this right in our backyard. I mean, who would not love that? Fresh food, community.
There are also plans to build affordable housing in the area in the coming years. In southeast Atlanta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Governor Kemp signs the state's nearly $38 billion budget into law. He says Georgia, in his words, is not like California, New York, or Illinois.
Here in Georgia, we're keeping government in check, cutting taxes, and returning money to where it belongs, back to hardworking Georgians.
He says the spending plan will cut taxes while still funding programs like education, public safety, and health care. Burger chain Shake Shack says it's opening a new U.S. support center at the Battery. That's in Cobb County. The restaurant chain already has one support center in New York where it was founded, but says the new support center will help fuel its next stage of growth. The company's long-term goal is to open 1,500 domestic shacks. Currently has 336 locations across the U.S. and will debut a new Shake Shack flagship restaurant at the Battery this summer. The burger chain's not saying how many jobs will be created with the opening of that new support center. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather up next. It's 1:02.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Save on stunning florals at Whole Foods Market. Prime members get 15 stem tulips for $9.99 each through May 13th. Surprise someone special to brighten their day. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
When it rains, it pours right into your crawl space, and that creates that musty smell and dangerous mold growth under your house. Meteorologist Christina Edwards here for American Crawl Space Solutions. Make the smell and the water go away and stop the water from coming back. Call American Crawl Space Solutions. They're experts at keeping your crawl space dry and preventing the mold from growing in your home. Give them a call today.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations to
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
As Georgia's homegrown leader in business insurance, Builders partners with thousands of local businesses to safeguard workers and help them return to their lives after injuries. Explore reliable workers' compensation solutions at BLDRS.com. Builders, insurance built strong.
At Barlow Lexus of South Atlanta, they just don't sell cars. They set the standard of amazing. Enjoy personalized service, a Starbucks cafe, and airport parking concierge, because you deserve more than just a car. Visit ButlerLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today, because they value you.
It's 1:05. Now time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Watching a new slow spot through Suwannee on your way towards Buford. We have a crash. It's off to the left-hand Gore, 85 northbound, just shy of 985. But we're seeing some extra brake lights this point in the morning. We're already slow back towards Sugarloaf Parkway, just outside of Duluth, and some extra stoppage at the downtown connector, always the busiest spot in and around the metro, especially with the volume. We're locking up just south of 400 on 85 proper, slowing and going to brake lights all the way down towards I-20. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Increasing cloud cover today, high 81. Rain showers arrive early tomorrow morning.
Clouds but no rain in sight on Storm Tracker radar. Right now it is 80 degrees in Forest Park, 77 degrees in Mableton, and also 77 in Midtown. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number of this Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, broadcasting to you live from Southern Pines, North Carolina, and our affiliate WEEB. So we begin our road show across America. We'll be doing this throughout the year. Joe and I have been talking down at Lafayette. We're probably going to wait until it's not like super humid. We'll show up for gumbo season in Lafayette. I'll make Charlie suck the heads of crawfish at some point. We'll see. All right, text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 so you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, and the like. The President of the United States tweeting out, 80% tariff on China seems right, up to Scott B. Why not Scotty B? Scotty B sounds a little cooler than Scott B. That would be Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. The President says it's going to be up to the Treasury Secretary what the tariff is on China. The irony is, those who know Scott Bessent says he would like it to be zero tariffs. He's not a tariff guy. So he is in charge of setting the tariff rate for the President. He's in Switzerland talking to the Chinese. Now, interestingly enough, we gotta move to other major issues here with the president and the tax cuts and more. But first, so I ended the show yesterday on the Ed Martin situation. You know, with the Pope and everything yesterday, I totally missed the president during the show withdrew Ed Martin's nomination to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And I just, as an aside here, I continue to be a little flabbergasted at the number of people emotionally invested in Ed Martin. Now, I don't know him. He apparently follows me on Twitter. I don't really know him. We've had a couple interactions in the past. I think he was with Eagle Forum back in the day. don't really know him. But the amount of people who were just that emotional about Thom Tillis rejecting him, wanting to primary Thom Tillis, all this, there are a class of activists who would rather the Democrats be in charge of the Senate than guys like Thom Tillis be there, and never mind that they would block all the judicial nominees, they would block Donald Trump, his agenda, it's payback time, whatever, but it's the amount of energy spent over a U.S. attorney in the District of Columbia was kind of wild to me. Now it turns out this could be the gift that keeps on giving. Donald Trump has decided to withdraw Ed Martin's nomination, and Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine. Judge Judy was not available. Judge Wapner, I guess, is dead. So they're going to go with Judge Jeanine from Fox News will be the new U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. ABC News begrudgingly reporting it, I should note. They're not very thrilled with the idea of Judge Jeanine in the media. The headline, Trump appoints Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as top prosecutor in D.C. The selection comes as Trump told reporters in the Oval Office Thursday that Ed Martin, who is currently serving as interim top prosecutor of D.C., would not be taking the position permanently after losing support among top Republicans in the Senate. ABC News reported earlier that Trump was eyeing Pirro for the position. The White House did not immediately respond. Pirro is a longtime ally of Trump, dating back to her time as a prominent prosecutor in New York. She was an early supporter of his 2016 campaign and publicly defended him during the Access Hollywood tape scandal. Following Trump's loss in 2020, Pirro pushed allegations of election fraud involving voting machines and was later among Fox News employees named in the Dominion voter lawsuit. Fox settled for $787.5 million. In 2019, Pirro was reportedly suspended by Fox News after she questioned the loyalty of Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to the Constitution because of her Muslim faith. Martin, who had been vying for the top prosecutor spot, has been serving as interim U.S. attorney since January 20th. Now, a couple of things here. Number one, the fall guy for the Republicans is Thom Tillis. I want to explain to you the way it operates. And I want to go back to the Democrats and the filibuster. Because the Democrats publicly said they wanted to get rid of the Senate filibuster. But for those meddlesome senators, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Were it not for Sinema and Manchin, the two Democrats standing in the way, the Democrats would have gotten rid of the filibuster. But it's not really true. And this is the thing, a lot of Democrats seem to be smarter to understand than a lot of Republicans are right now on this. See, it was Sinema and Manchin who were willing to be the public face of opposition to getting rid of the filibuster so that other Democrats who were on the ballot in 2020 and 2024 wouldn't have to take the shots. So you could have, for example, the lady who's the senator from Nevada, Cortez or whatever, I forget her name. She, everyone knew, was privately opposed. But publicly, she could say she would vote to get rid of the filibuster, even if she wanted to keep it, because as long as Manchin and Sinema were standing there publicly, she could say she supported ending the filibuster, knowing that it would not actually go away. The same with Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire. She had long time been opposed to getting rid of the filibuster, but progressives said, we're going to primary you if you don't want to get rid of the filibuster. I want to get rid of the filibuster. I think the filibuster's time has come. It's a racist institution of the past. And as long as Manchin and Sinema were there, she could take that public stance. So along comes Ed Martin, who defended the January 6th. A lot of the January 6th defendants were defended by Ed Martin. He had spoken at the Stop the Steal rally the day before January 6th. A lot of the Republican senators didn't want Ed Martin. Thom Tillis on the Judiciary Committee knew that if he stopped the guy in the Judiciary Committee, the Mitch McConnells, the Susan Collinses, the what's his guy, the new name from the new guy from Utah who plays Mitt Romney, None of these people would have to be public. It wasn't just Tom Tillis. There are other Republicans in the Senate who didn't want him, but Tom Tillis was willing to be the guy to say, what are they going to do, primary me? If they primary me, they're going to lose. Look what happened in North Carolina with Mark Robinson. Look what happened to the Republicans in North Carolina who went full MAGA. They all lost. If I lose the primary, Republicans lose the Senate. What are they really going to do? Donald Trump is going to support me because Donald Trump wants to keep the Senate. All of these guys like to say they don't know what time it is. It's the woke right phrase. On the left are like, we've got to rise to meet the moment. These senators need to fight because they need to meet the moment. This is the moment where you got to fight. And the woke right's like, they don't know what time it is. Tom Tillis knows what time it is, and that is the time to save the Senate for the GOP, which requires Donald Trump's support, and Donald Trump's going to support him, so he can be the bad guy. Notice Donald Trump is not attacking Tom Tillis. Notice Donald Trump is not online bashing Tom Tillis for refusing to support Ed Martin. Because Donald Trump understands that Tom Tillis is the only thing standing between the Republicans and losing the Senate with the North Carolina Senate seat, making it a very expensive race where Roy Cooper, the just ended governor, he was term limited in North Carolina, could run for the Senate. The Democrats are openly recruiting Cooper and a couple others to possibly run. North Carolina isn't a conservative state. I mean, they're certainly conservative Democrats, but they vote Democrat. You got a Democratic governor now in North Carolina because of Mark Robinson. So Tom Tillis knew that if he and the Judiciary Committee stopped Ed Martin, other Republicans in more difficult potential primary spots would be saved. Susan Collins wouldn't have to worry about it. Mitch McConnell wouldn't have to come out again. The new guy from Utah wouldn't have to come out. And they weren't alone. There were a number of others who didn't want Ed Martin. And you don't know who they are because they didn't have to say anything. Because Tom Tillis did it. That's the way the Senate works. The Senate is, at the end of the day, a protection racket for incumbent establishment politicians. And it works this way on the left and the right. It works this way among Democrats and Republicans. A couple of them come out who are who they know they're not going to be beaten in a primary. Maybe they don't even run again. Manchin and Sinema wound up not running again. Maybe Tillis doesn't run again. So he doesn't care one way or the other. He's either going to have Trump support or he's not going to run again. Either way, he could say, I'm blocking Ed Martin. Without his vote, Martin can't get through the Judiciary Committee. That's the way the game is played in the Senate. And for all the people emotional about this, all the people complaining, all the people upset, all the people who want a primary, you got to understand that's the way the Senate works. You gave no incentive to Tom Tillis to change his mind. You had no leverage on Tom Tillis to change his mind. And Tom Tillis knew that by him standing and being the face of the opposition and taking all of the arrows, these other Republicans are protected, and not just that. It gives Tom Tillis leverage on them with things he wants in the tax package for North Carolina. It gives Tom Tillis leverage on defense spending. It gives Tom Tillis lots of leverage on lots of things. Maybe he can even get some advanced appropriations so they can change all the signs around here back to Fort Bragg. It's kind of wild, you know. So, I'm broadcasting from Southern Pines. Fort Bragg is down the road, and there's still all these Fort Liberty signs. I'm staying in a Fort Liberty branded hotel. You got Fort Liberty signs everywhere. They've already moved it back to Fort Bragg. Now, there is I noticed there was a Bragg Road, a Fort Bragg Road or something. They haven't changed the name of the road to Fort Liberty Road. It's still Fort Bragg Road. But all the street signs, the green, highway signs, still say Fort Liberty. They haven't changed them back yet. So maybe Tom Tillis can get some appropriations and get those signs changed. Those senators who he stood in front of to block from being condemned, they owe him something. But now just think about the opportunity this is all presented. Donald Trump is going to have Judge Jeanine. She's going to be the U.S. attorney for 120 days because I doubt she's going to be confirmed by the Senate. So now he's fixed Fox News. He's taken her off. They can get somebody else on there. She wasn't my favorite. There are a lot of people at Fox House. She wasn't my favorite. So now they can improve that seat, and they've improved the U.S. Attorney's Office. She was a great prosecutor. Back in the day, Janine Pirro was a brilliant prosecutor. So they've got someone who actually is a capable prosecutor. This is lost in the conversation. Her Fox News persona kind of outweighs everything. She was a very good, capable, competent prosecutor. She's now in the U.S. Attorney spot. If she lasts just 120 days, we could have a roving cycle. In 120 days, we get Judge Judy. In 120 days from there, we get some other judge. In 120 days from there, we get some top prosecutor from somewhere who just comes in. And every 120 days, it's like a reality TV series. We get a new prosecutor for D.C. every 120 days. And the thing is, we ratchet it up. Every 120 days, we get someone the Democrats hate even more. By the end of it, you get Alex Jones. He'll have made it out of law school by then. By the end of it, you get Alex. No, you know what? You know who we could get? Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly she was a lawyer. By the end, we could get Megyn Kelly in there. Who? Oh yes, Kim Kardashian. Didn't she go to law school? Yes. Yeah, we get Kim Kardashian. Yes. Just every 120 days, it's a new celebrity U.S. attorney for D.C. And it's someone the Democrats hate more and more. We should get Kanye through law school. Look, I mean, just think about the opportunities here. Think about the opportunities. Every 120 days, we have a new U.S. attorney in D.C., and as long as that person is replaced within 120 days, Judge Boasberg has to suck it up and deal with them. He can't stop it. They just have a roving. I mean, you could do a reality series in the White House. People could audition for the job. Trump could monetize putting in a new U.S. attorney, and whoever the left reacts to the worst is who gets it. And it was Ed Martin. Now it's Judge Janine. You know who it needs to be? It needs to be Rudy Giuliani next. After Judge Janine, we go to Rudy Giuliani. After Rudy Giuliani, we go to Sidney Powell. After Sidney Powell, we go maybe back to Ed Martin for 120 days, and we just circle through. The left goes insane, and the criminals go to jail.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 in the Cool Ray Carrier. Traffic's in into trouble rolling through McDonough. Got a stalled vehicle in the center lane, 75 south of Jonesboro Road, exit 221. The brake light's back over you all the way to 675. You may want to consider hopping on the Peach Pass Express lanes, where you can use Highway 4223 as a quick fast track if you're in a hurry. This report sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is the best deal in fast food for a lot of reasons, some of which include a JBC, 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks,
a new pope has been elected.
We've got it covered.
The historic sound from St. Peter's Square.
Tune in often for the latest.
Benedict and Francis each were elected on the second day, so this is equal to those.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Smash burgers are all the rage these days. I love to make them too. I got one of those Weber griddles, and you could just make them, and gosh, they're crispy, they're thin. Stack two of them together, put cheese between both of them. Your family loves them. Omaha Steaks right now is going to give you 16 free smash burgers with their Built for the Grill pack. You go to omahasteaks.com/smash, SMASH. You can make them in a skillet, you can make them on the grill, you can make them on the griddle if you got a griddle, and they turn out perfect however you do them. They're flavorful, they're beefy, they are 100% premium aged Omaha Steaks beef for exceptional quality and flavor from America's Butcher. Get ready to smash expectations with the new Omaha Steak Burgers. Go to omahasteaks.com/smash. Order the Built for the Grill pack. You'll get 16 free smash burgers. That's 16 free smash burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details. All these are amazing.
If you've been taught that all bread is unhealthy, I'm here to tell you not if it's real bread. Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. If you're struggling with weight gain, high cholesterol, constipation, even warts, or kids who seem to be constantly sick, come visit us at the Bread Becker store in Woodstock, where we have taught thousands of customers that real bread might be their healthy solution. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've studied the incredible health benefits of real whole grains and bread. I discovered that store-bought bread has had most of the nutrients in the grain removed during milling, and yes, even packages labeled 100% whole wheat. Make a healthy eating change in your life at Bread Becker's in Woodstock. We'll show you how bread, but only real bread, might be the answer to your family's physical ills. The Bread Beckers. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All the information without the spin. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Greetings, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. If you text the word data to 33777, you can subscribe to the show notes. Get yourself a fine discount on the paid subscription where you get all of the show notes. I should note in passing, there's only so much I can say on the topic given my history of it, but retired Justice David Souter has passed away, had been on the Supreme Court for a number of years. He was John Sununu convinced George H.W. Bush to put him on. It rapidly shifted from a moderately conservative justice to one of the most liberal, and then he retired. I can say nothing else. Those of you who know, you know. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, is ordering transgendered soldiers to leave the military by June. If they're not out by June 6th, they will be involuntarily separated from the media, or from the military. The media, of course, taking the sides of the trans soldiers and just completely inaccurately dealing with the situation. If you got bad eyesight, if you got asthma and the like, you can't be in the military, but you can take all sorts of hormone therapies and have a mental health issue and be perfectly fine in the military because they want to normalize transgenderism. It's not going to work. Hegseth has said he's had enough of it. The Supreme Court has said the president can do this, and they are going to do it. Now, of course, yes, the next president can come in and undo it retroactively, bring people back in, do all that, make a big hay out of it. But I get the sense when you look at the data and the polling on this that this issue is dramatically changing. It's like the illegal immigration issue. There was an off-the-record meeting of Democrats in Washington, D.C. yesterday, and they were told by their top analysts they have to change their position on open borders and immigration, that it is driving people away from them. This issue, too. Non-white, non-wealthy white voters are being driven away from the Democrats on this issue towards the GOP, so Hegseth can get away with it. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them now. You can save $200, get them for less than $200. EdenPureDeals.com. Eden like the Garden of Eden. Pure is the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. Put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. It's an air purifier. It gets rid of pet, dander, pollen, dust, you name it, floating in the air. The new ones generate plasma. You get 99.9% of bacteria and viruses wiped out that pass through it, and then it generates ozone, and it locks onto the ionized particles you and I know as odors and wipes them out. Whether it's smoke odors, litter box odors, pet odors, what have you. I keep one in my travel bag. They're small. You can hold them in your hand. You can plug them with a USB cord. You can plug them into the wall. And they just wipe out odors. So if you're in a rental car or someone had smoked in it before, you plug it up, you walk away, you come back, the smoke odor is gone. You're in a hotel room, somebody smoked, wipes out the odors. Somebody heavily perfumed odors, wipes them out. You get 3 of them. You save $200. One for upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 1:30. I'm Austin Eller. This news brought to you by Ben Hill Renovations. Our top story we're hearing today from some of the Cardinals a day after the election of Pope Leo as the first American pope. Among them is Cardinal Wilton Gregory, who served as Archbishop of Atlanta until 2019. He's asked if there was any connection between American politics and the conclave.
The Cardinals were quite aware of things that have occurred in the United States. But what the Cardinals were concerned about primarily, at least, was who among us can bring us together.
Gregory was appointed cardinal by Pope Francis in 2020. A partial train derailment's under investigation in Smyrna.
CSX confirms 17 rail cars on one of its trains went off the tracks near Campbell Road and Nancy Circle, but no hazardous chemicals were released, and there's no threat to the surrounding community. The accident site is tucked behind some trees close to a few homes, but no roads are impacted. The derailment was reported shortly after 2 a.m., and CSX praises the quick response from Cobb County first responders. It's not clear how long the cleanup will take. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Well, MARTA's Georgia World Congress Center CNN Center station is getting a new name. Thomas Worthy from MARTA's board of directors says they're changing it to the Sports Entertainment and Convention District, or SEC, rail station, ahead of big events happening next year.
We know that FIFA would like to see the renaming within 6 months of the World Cup, which is why the January 1st date was put in there.
Worthy also says the change is needed with the CNN Center being redeveloped. It is 1:31. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
A lifetime warranty says a lot about a company. Lifetime is a long time. Home Fix It show host Dave Baker here. I can't think of a better place to have a lifetime warranty than on the roof of your home. It covers everything you own and love. That's why I love Finley Roofing. Only Finley Roofing, the roof guys, provide a lifetime leak-free warranty on labor and materials at no additional cost. Nobody else does that. Other roofers charge you more for a lesser warranty. Finley replaced the roof on my home and over 65,000 other homes locally. They've mastered the roof replacement process with impeccable, high-quality work. They've seen it all, they've replaced it all, and they've warrantied it all. With the Finley Roofing Lifetime Warranty, you'll never have to worry about your roof ever again. Time to replace your roof? Think of Finley first. Schedule your free roof analysis. No obligation, no charge at finleyroofing.com.
Roof. Author James Clear said, "Don't let the hope of finding a better way prevent you from starting down the best path you know of right now. What step do you need to go ahead and take? The Bible teaches us to number every day as priceless and to never boast about tomorrow. Don't let the illusion of perfection rob you of the effectiveness of imperfect action today." This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
This is Scott Slade. Nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. Like me. My doctor saw one lab work number that led to a diagnosis early enough, so I still had options. Now, that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation. Virtual imaging's LD CT whole body scan can be invaluable, giving you time and options for early treatment. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their LDCT body scan for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Now, appointments must be scheduled in May. There are a limited number of scans available at this price, so a few minimum requirements may apply. Don't put this off. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's 1:34. We've got live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco joins us from the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
With some better news out of McDonough, we just had some trouble in the center lane. Just watch it clear to the shoulder, and the jam cam all lanes back open. 75 south of Jonesboro Road, exit 221, but the brake light battle still taking you back towards I-675. So keep using those express lanes or Highway 4223 to in a little bit better shape. And delays on the downtown connector, north and southbound, we're slow from East Point through the heart of downtown, all the way up into Midtown, southbound, seeing the brake lights starting just south of 400 on 85 proper. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Mostly cloudy today, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Widespread rain showers for tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, high 65. Rain showers continue for Sunday, high 67.
It's 76 in Sandy Springs, 78 in Decatur, also 78 in Midtown. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Hello and welcome. It is Erick Erickson. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you'd like to be on the program, it's an open line Friday. Well, air traffic controllers for New Jersey's Newark Airport have lost radar again today. It went down for 90 seconds. Newark is, so let me back up. The New York City air corridor is the busiest in North America and one of the busiest on planet Earth. You have clustered together very tightly as far as planes are concerned. You've got Newark, you've got LaGuardia, and you've got JFK. You've also got the private airport north of the city. A lot of private planes land just north of New York City, Westchester County. So you're dealing with all of that. And then you've got further up the eastern seaboard, you've got Bradley International in Boston. You've got to deal with Bradley International is Hartford, and then you've got Logan Airport in Boston. So you've got a very congested corridor of aviation. You go south, you've got Philly's Airport. You got a lot in that area. You got a lot of traffic, and we're dealing with ancient equipment. I mean, we're dealing with really old equipment. Over time, a lot of our modern aircraft have moved towards GPS, and they can coordinate with GPS for flying. But as you get close to the ground, air traffic control and their radars got to track planes. They got to track the planes on the ground. They got to track the planes in the air. They've got to keep them distant from each other. Newark is a complicating factor in that one of its runways is under repair. So that's causing more problems for the airport. The airport is completely landlocked as well. It's a miserable place to get in and out of. So here's the thing. A lot of people are piling on Sean Duffy. If you don't remember, Sean Duffy had started on The Real World. He was the lumberjack on The Real World back in the day. Actually wound up marrying Rachel, his wife, who was also on The Real World. They are super people, you should know. They are genuinely great people. Both of them went to Fox News eventually. Sean went to law school. From law school, he became a prosecutor. He could be the next U.S. attorney for D.C. Went to law school, became a prosecutor, then ran for Congress, got elected to Congress from Wisconsin, was there for a number of years. He and his wife, I think they have 8 kids, 6 to 8 kids. and devoutly Catholic, and their youngest has special needs, and they needed to reprioritize their life because of their youngest. And so Sean dropped out of Congress. Now, here's the thing. So one of the frustrating things about the rumor mill in politics, so Sean had been on TV. He's a good-looking guy. He's in Congress, and he drops out, and the rumors, I bet he was unfaithful. I bet there's a scandal. I bet there's something there. No. Their child had special needs and disabilities, and he needed to drop out of Congress and find a way to make some more money than what he was making in Congress to be able to take care of his family. He and Rachel are very blessed. They get offers from Fox News. I think they moved their family so they could do TV in New York, start making some real money. Then the president calls and offers him the Secretary of Transportation job. When the president calls and offers you a job like that, you're not going to turn it down. It's definitely a pay hit for him, but it's also prestigious. Secretary of Transportation. Well, the buzz starts. Well, he's just a pretty face. He's just a Fox News personality. Actually, Sean is a very good guy. I know Sean Duffy. I don't know him well. We've had a friendly relationship, even going back to when he was running for Congress. He and his wife are phenomenal people. They are genuinely good people. He is a good boss. Everyone who has ever worked for him has enjoyed working for him. He's just a good guy. He's also a competent administrator and problem solver. I mean, put it to you this way. I have inordinate, unyielding respect for a man who, in his family, are committed to having a family. They have a large family. And when he processes the situation, I'm a sitting member of Congress. My child has special needs. How do I solve the problem of making things work for my family? You know what? I've got to sacrifice my job. I got to quit my job that has given me a level of prestige. He's on a leadership track in Congress among Republicans, and he quits. Shocked everybody, by the way. He's a problem solver. And he looked at that problem. What do I do? How do I deal with this problem? I've got to make a sacrifice, and he sacrifices. And the sacrifice works. He winds up with a great job at Fox News. And now the Democrats say, well, he's just a pretty face. You know what? His predecessor in office was a gay dude who liked trains. That's the only reason he was Secretary of Transportation. Buttigieg had no experience whatsoever to qualify him to be Secretary of Transportation, except he liked trains and was gay. And by the way, the being gay part was a quintessential requirement for the resume because Joe Biden prioritized diversity over everything else. He wanted a white gay Secretary of Transportation. He wanted somewhere to put Pete Buttigieg because he was a white gay dude with kids. He wanted it. Being gay opened the door for Pete Buttigieg, and that's a fact. And if it offends you, I'm sorry you're offended at the truth. And what did he do when he became Secretary of Transportation? He decided to change words. So the notice to airmen, the notice, they gender neutralized it. Because, notice to airmen is sexist. That's when pilots fly and you want to send them a notice, a signal that there's turbulence ahead of you, that there's a storm, that the radar hasn't picked up this bump and you might experience this shift in winds. So notice to airmen, except it said man, and that's sexist. It had to be changed. And you know what else they did? They changed the word cockpit. Yes, because that could be offensive to female pilots. It needed to be called the flight deck. You think I'm making this up because it sounds so absurd, but deep down you know I'm telling you the truth. Instead of fixing the air traffic system, Pete Buttigieg decided to fix the language. I was telling this story to a reporter the other day. She was calling me. It was a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. She had seen a tweet. I was complaining about Kristi Noem cosplayed as a Border Patrol agent. Did y'all see the picture of this? It's so stupid. Kristi Noem is wearing her camo, and she's got on her bulletproof vest, and she's holding her rifle and is pointing the rifle at the actual Border Patrol agent. And if you watch the video of it, he sees it out of the corner of his eye and has to take 3 steps back because Noem is literally pointing the rifle at his face. Doesn't even realize it. And I was like, this is dumb. I don't need my Secretary of Homeland Security to cosplay as a Border Patrol agent. I need her to actually get the damn job done. And that was part of my problem with Buttigieg. I was telling the story to this reporter of the Wall Street Journal. I said when I was in college, I would go home in the summer and I would work for my local high school. And at that time, it had been 3 schools, an elementary, middle, and a high school, all combined in one building. And when I got to college, they decided, you know what, instead of having 3 distinct schools, we're going to have one school with a headmaster and then the principals for middle and elementary and high school. And they had a principal for the elementary school. And I just thought he had it together. Everything was sharp. Everything was polished. And I went to the headmaster one day, and I asked her, or she asked me, she says, why do you think he's so competent? I said, just look at him. His office is always clean. He's always in a suit. All of his papers and his presentations are always so polished. Everything looks perfect. And she said, yes, because he's compensating for incompetence by making himself look like he knows what he's doing. She said he looks to be competent, and that's to hide the fact that he's not. He's making everything clean in his office, and he's dressing the way he's dressing, and he's making his presentations look sharp because that's his way of hiding the fact he doesn't actually know what he's doing. And she said, I would rather someone with a messy desk who knows what they're doing. It was kind of eye-opening. I just assumed if your desk is put together, this is why I don't have a clean desk anymore. I mean, why bother? I'm competent. Look at my ratings. She was like, it doesn't, the superficial polish is oftentimes a camouflage for incompetence. It's like that. This is kind of insightful. And I realized that about a guy like Buttigieg. He wasn't that competent. But he said the right things, and he took care of liberals in the way they needed to be taken care of, and he scratched the itch of the progressives. Like, did you see this video of the other day? We put it in the show notes the other day. He was doing a podcast. He's trying to be the podcast bro now because, you know, the left needs their own Joe Rogan. So we're going to go get Pete Buttigieg. And he was talking about how you get a discount on adopting a black baby. And then he realized what he said. He actually talked about you get a discount when you adopt a black baby. This is the same guy who, when he was talking about dark money in politics in South Carolina on the campaign trail in 2020, when he had the audacity to think the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, was qualified to run for president, and all the white progressives were like, he's here, he's gay, we've got one. And he's in South Carolina talking to a black audience, and instead of talking about dark money in politics, he refers to black money in politics. I wish I had that audio. Yes, Pete Buttigieg literally referred to black money in politics. He wasn't that competent. I remember when Barack Obama was president of the United States. I used to subscribe to Wired before it went really off the rails when Donald Trump broke everything and broke them. Wired was a great tech magazine back in the day. Wired had a study, a big profile of the air traffic control system and how convoluted it was, and how they were moving to GPS, and how the towers needed to be upgraded, the technology needed to be upgraded. In most towers in America now, they still rely on little printed pieces of paper that they shift around in boards to keep track of the airplanes. It's an actual deeply analog paper system. And they were talking about the steps that were going to be needed to do this, and it was going to be a multi-year process that was going to have to happen. And it should have been done by the end of the Biden administration, and they barely even started. It was like the high-speed rail in California that the Democrats can't seem to build. The Democrats can't seem to keep our planes in the air competently with radar that works. But now that Donald Trump is there, they're like, that's all Donald Trump's fault. Look at the plane crash in Washington, D.C. It's Donald Trump's fault. No, it was a female military pilot who refused to listen to her flight instructor who caused it. We now know this. The New York Times has reported it. The female pilot of the helicopter was told by her commanding officer she needed to reduce the altitude of the helicopter, and she refused. Caused the plane crash. And they wanted to blame Trump and Duffy. Do you know there were more plane crashes in the first 100 days of Biden's tenure in office with Pete Buttigieg than there were with Donald Trump and Sean Duffy? And yet the media didn't want to tell you that. They wanted to, every plane disaster that happened in the first 100 days of Donald Trump's office. It was like, it's got a reality star as Secretary of Transportation. Clearly it's his fault. I'm sorry, it's not his fault. But he's the guy who's going to fix it. He's the guy in charge now. He's the problem solver. Pete Buttigieg had his chance, and the best thing that Pete Buttigieg could do now would be to shut his mouth. And instead, he wants to do a podcast tour on how every problem is Sean Duffy's problem. It really, Sean Duffy must live rent-free in Pete Buttigieg's head. The right man is there for the job to fix aviation in this country. You should be praying for Sean Duffy. He's got a massive, massive, massive problematic job ahead of him. And it's going to take several years to get it fixed, but he's working with Elon Musk to figure it out, the smartest tech entrepreneur out there, so they should be able to get it fixed. But today, again, the radar has gone out at Newark Airport. It's happening around the country. It's jeopardizing Americans, and the political blame will ultimately come to rest with the Trump administration if they can't get it solved. So we got to hope for them to solve it. We got to wish Sean Duffy the best, and I sure am glad it's him and not a man whose number one priority was taking sexism out of the language of aviation. Now, before I get out of here, let me tell you about Hillsdale College. ERICK. We have people who, I tell you to text Eric to 33777. We still have people all the time who text ERIC. I've got the C and the K. It's the best of both worlds. So you go to ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You can take one of 40 different classes from Hillsdale College. They're all great. There's a great one on capitalism right now, the Genesis one that combines the literary and theological themes of Genesis is good. You've got one on the Constitution 101, how it was started, the Constitutional Convention, the framework of the Constitution, how it's evolved over time. There's a good one on the founding political philosophies of America. Some of them are even taught by Larry Ard, the great president of Hillsdale College. They're all taught by some of the best faculty. They're entertaining. They're engaging. Surely there's a topic you're interested in. You can expand your horizons and expand your mind by going to ericforhillsdale.com. And you'll never pay a penny. They're completely free. Completely free. Quality education from Hillsdale College at no cost to you, and you get a certificate of completion. All you do is go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today, free of charge. Pick one of the classes you want to take. Dive in, improve your mind. It's education. It's not indoctrination. It's Hillsdale College at ericforhillsdale.com.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center moving a little bit better through the south side. We just have that crash clear to the shoulder. 75 south of Jonesboro Road, exit 221. Still seeing some brake lights taking you back towards 675, but they will dissipate very quickly. No more need for an alternate on your way towards McDonough. And we do have a little bit of a stall. We do have a small trouble spot here in Cobb County on our way to the home of the Braves. We're on 285 North. The inner loop at Paces Ferry Road, exit 18. Got a stall off to the shoulder. Look for that left lane to be blocked at times. This is sponsored by Georgia United Credit Union. Ready for a financial partner that puts you first? Discover the difference at Georgia United Credit Union. Visit gucu.org/join. Inspired by NCUA. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
That's amazing.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every
This
weekday.
is Dawn in Brazelton, and I just won $1,000 from WSB.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app.
Your next chance to win is coming up at 2
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
on 95.5 WSB.
It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There are so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them, see if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
Turn your backyard into your family's favorite hangout to have fun, entertain, and celebrate the summer in a Bullfrog hot tub from Brown's Pools and Spas. Only Bullfrog offers the Jetpack Therapy system, allowing you to customize each seat to fit every body in your family. Right now, shop the Memorial Day hot tub sale. Instant rebates up to $2,500 or a free audio upgrade on select models. Hurry, offer ends May 27. You'll be so glad you went to Brown's Pools and Spas. BrownsPools.com.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. A few years back, there was a surge of online mattress companies offering a one-feel-fits-all mattress. Eventually, they all added more selections. Why? They discovered what we've known for over 30 years. Everyone has unique preferences. At the Original Mattress Factory, we handled a range of comfort choices so that you can select the one that suits you best. Don't rely on someone else's opinion. Try out a variety of options and find the one that's right for you. OriginalMattress.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Dave Baker here. I know you have big plans for the summer. Did you include plumbing and electrical problems? No? Well, let's keep it that way. Here's a couple of things you can do to avoid nasty summer issues from my friends at Brightbox Electrical and Mr. Plumber, both from the Coolray family of companies. For starters, Mr. Plumber's currently offering a $99 water heater flush. Flushing your water heater is like getting an oil change for your car. It gets rid of buildup and will extend the life of your water heater, and $99 is a great price. Or maybe summer storms have you nervous about losing power to your home and all your important electronics like entertainment systems, your refrigerator, your heating and air, or your medical devices. Brightbox Electrical is currently offering $500 off a Generac home standby generator. You can keep the juice flowing in your home no matter the season or the reason. Go to Coolray.com and schedule your appointment today.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
I have to say for the record, I got some hate mail here from Carl, listing in Austin, Texas, who is upset with my statement of Kristi Noem cosplaying as a border security guard, except she was. I want my secretaries in the cabinet to actually just be doing their job. They don't need to be on, like, camera dressed up as Border Patrol. Be a good Secretary of Homeland Security. Don't be cosplaying as Border Patrol when you're literally pointing a gun in a guy's face so much so he's got to step back. I mean, did she? Luckily, his name was not like Max or Bow Wow or something. She might have thought he was a dog and taken him out. Just come on, just be good at your job. But for those of you who say that she is actually good at her job, no, that you're confusing her for Tom Homan. You know, the dirty little secret in D.C. among conservatives is that there's never been great love for Kristi Noem. When she was in the Congress, she was actually a squishy moderate Republican, and when she became governor, she actually sided with the trans lobby and vetoed legislation in the legislature in what was it, South Dakota. That would have prohibited transgender surgeries, among other things. So she's always kind of been a milquetoast Republican. But I mean, by God, she looks good. She must be competent. It just I don't need a secretary to cosplay. Look at Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy is engaged in fixing air traffic control, and he's not dressing like a pilot. He's not showing up to look like he's about to fly the plane. He shows up in a suit. Or Marco Rubio. You know, Rubio was actually laughing with if they made him Surgeon General, he'd get a uniform. He'd get out of his suit. You don't need to dress up like you're in the Border Patrol to be the Secretary of Homeland Security. You don't see even Pete Hegseth putting on a military uniform now. But yet some of these guys in the Trump administration feel like they got to cosplay as whatever they are. No, you don't need to. Just go do your job competently and stay out of the limelight. Leave that for Donald Trump. He's the one we want to see anyway. 877-973-7425. When we come back, I want to talk about the story in Georgia of a girl who ran a light. Turns out she's a legal alien. Her whole family's getting deported. It's become a big headline. I have thoughts. But first, I need to tell you, time's running out on the Smashburger deal at Omaha Steaks. Get 16 of them for free at omahasteaks.com/smash. Do you know how hard it is to say omahasteaks.com/smash when your nose is completely congested? And yet here I am, a professional, able to do it. And I want you to know they're great. You get pure ground filet mignon burgers, you get steaks, you get chicken breasts, you get gourmet jumbo franks, you get the caramel apple tartlets my wife loves, you get free shipping, it's 50% off, and you get 16 free smash burgers. And they're great. You do them on your griddle, your skillet, whatever you do. You can pile them high, do 1 patty, 2 patties, 3 patties, put cheese, don't put cheese, whatever you want. They're incredibly delicious because they're from Omaha Steaks. They've been doing this since 1917. My family blew through the smash burgers. You will too. omahasteaks.com/smash. That's what you want to do. omahasteaks.com/smash. Fill up on the smash burgers. The time is running out on this deal. You get 16 of them for free. omahasteaks.com/smash. And you get free shipping as well. You can thank me later. Your whole family's going to love them.
Belinda Skelton here with Atlanta Vision Institute's very own Dr. Ashraf, who is one of the most experienced eye surgeons in the country. Dr. Ashraf, we've all watched the news and the economy is uncertain, but failing eyesight isn't. And if you've held back due to finances, we've got good news for you, don't we?
Yes, Belinda, as you know, our eyesights degrade as we age. And with the laser optics procedure, that resets all of that. And most of my patients go most of the day without glasses. They can even read their phone without glasses. And in terms of the economy, most of these patients, their medical insurance can cover most of the costs. And if it doesn't, we have a lot of good financing options for this procedure.
That's awesome, Dr. Ashraf. I urge you to take the quiz to see if you're a candidate. Go to 2020atlanta.com. That's 2020atlanta.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. Murder suspects from Memphis are arrested in Cobb County.
Gang investigators from Memphis, Tennessee reached out to our department to share with us that there may be 2 murder suspects hiding here within our city.
Officer Chuck McPhillamy with Marietta Police says they were found at a home on Crest Ridge Drive. While searching for those suspects, they discovered drugs in plain sight. 2 others are arrested. All 4 suspects face drug-related charges in Marietta, and 2 of them likely now headed back to Memphis to face murder charges. It is 81 degrees in Atlanta, watching for weekend rain.
Sorry, Mom. It's going to rain on Mother's Day.
Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A man from Jamaica is indicted for murder by a federal grand jury in Atlanta. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Orville Purnell is an international fugitive. He entered the U.S. under a false identity after escaping custody in St. Lucia and Jamaica for a murder back in 2020. Purnell is facing federal firearm charges and is detained while awaiting trial back in St. Lucia. Metro Atlanta's roads are getting some much-needed improvements this summer. Natalie Dale with the Georgia DOT says crews are set to pave basically every major interstate and state highway over the next few months.
We're talking 285 on the west side. We're talking 285 on the east side. We're talking the downtown connector down to I-20.
Atlanta DOT also plans similar paving projects on roads across the city. Atlanta will conduct their paving work during the day, while GDOT will pave overnight. Some residents in one Atlanta neighborhood will soon have more access to fresh foods.
The new Leela Valley Community Farm is a partnership between Atlanta Housing and the Foodwell Alliance. Dr. Alan Ferguson with Atlanta Housing says,
by cultivating this space with garden beds, orchards, and flowers, we're excited to build out a new housing farm model aimed at strengthening healthier communities with holistic approaches.
Celeste Lomax lives right next to the farm site and says she's thrilled.
It's amazing and it just makes my heart sing.
There are also plans to build affordable housing in the area in the coming years. In Southeast Atlanta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Radar screens at Newark Airport briefly go black again this morning. It is the second outage in 2 weeks. Air traffic controllers are heard talking to a FedEx plane and a private jet.
FedEx 1989.
I hand you off here. Our scopes just went black again. If you care about this, contact your airline and try to get some pressure for them to fix this stuff.
That audio from liveatc.net. The FAA says the outage lasted for 90 seconds just before 4 o'clock this morning. It is 2:02. This news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Let me paint you a picture. You're standing in the kitchen of your new home, coffee in hand, sunlight pouring in, boxes mostly unpacked. Feels good, right? Now imagine your old home. Oh, it's still there, but instead of stressing about it, you know that Orchard is handling everything. Repairs, showings, upgrades, the works. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and this is not a fantasy. Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy first, move first, breathe first. And while you're living your best unpacked life, they're busy selling your old home for top dollar. Here's the twist. When it sells for more, and most of the time it does, you get that bonus too. That's 2 paydays. Not a gimmick, not a hack, just smart. That's Orchard. Why wait for tomorrow's money when you can have it today and tomorrow? Start with a free home valuation at orchard.com or call 1-844-421-SELL.
Spring storms can produce flash flooding with heavy rain flowing around your house and into your crawl space. And rainwater trapped in there will provide the perfect breeding ground for mold. Hey, this is Christina Edwards. Mold not only produces that stale, musty smell, but it can also impact the air quality in your home. But call my friends at American Crawl Space Solutions. They will encapsulate your crawl space, keeping it dry and preventing mold from forming. AmericanCrawlSpaceSolutions.com. Your best value for crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Stylin'. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
N62225. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
It is now 2:05. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center this Friday afternoon. It's Andrew Seco.
Good afternoon, Bill. Right now, checking the biggest impact spot, which remains the downtown connector. Heavy volume already this point in the afternoon. Northbound, we're slow back into East Point, stretching into Midtown. Southbound, seeing the delays spilling on to 75 and 85 proper, seeing those delays feeling the pinch all the way back into Buckhead. Looking at some trouble on the Interloop through Cobb County. Got a stalled vehicle just moving to the right shoulder from the left shoulder. 285 north, the Interloop at Paces Ferry Road. That's exit 18. And heading south on the outer loop, got some road work in the right lane, doing some overhead bridge work. 285 south, the South Atlanta Road. That's exit 16. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Increasing cloud cover today. High 81. Rain showers arrive early tomorrow morning.
80 in Woodstock, 81 in Stone Mountain, and 76 in Buford. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is help. H-E-L-P. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is help. H-E-L-P. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
Greetings, conversationalists. It's Eric Erickson here across America, broadcasting live from Gulf Mecca, Southern Pines, North Carolina, very near Pinehurst number 2. The phone number 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, it's an open line Friday. Text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to the number 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, the daily email, all the social media links, so much more. I want to begin this hour because I actually wanted to talk about this particular story. here now. I put it in the show notes. You can get the link to it there and some of my commentary on it. But I wanted to actually start with the phone call from Gretchen to help me talk about this story. The headline from the New York Post: Georgia college student faces deportation after running red light. Police discover her entire family has been living illegally in the United States for years. So help me get this started. Gretchen's been waiting for a very long time on the phones. Thank you for being patient and welcome to the show.
You're worth the wait, Eric, and great show
Thank
notes
you.
today. This is a sad, tragic story, and the media is just going to take it and run with it because it's a beautiful young lady with a beautiful family. My husband became a citizen 20 years ago, and during the entire process of getting his green card and then his citizenship, he knew not to put a toe out of line or get arrested or have a traffic ticket because it would mess up his visa. It would ruin his chances for a green card or citizenship. But my question to you is, why is it that Republicans can't hammer the point that it's illegal immigration that they're against? They need to just stress that word every time they're forced to talk about it or volunteer to talk about it. And then another question is this young, beautiful college student. I hate that this is happening to her. I'm angry that her parents put her in this situation. But how can she get a legitimate job without a Social Security number once she does graduate from high school or this college? And how did her father start a company here if he's illegal?
Yes. That could happen is part of the problem. Now, let me give everybody the details here. So her name is Zeminia Arias Cristobal. She's 19 years old. She was pulled over by police in Dalton, Georgia on May 5th. She didn't adhere to a no turn on red sign. Zeminia Arias Cristobal goes to Dalton State Community College. She was driving without a driver's license. She told police officers she had an international driver's license. She then admitted she didn't have the foreign document when they asked her to show it, claiming her mother had taken it away from her and she wasn't supposed to be driving. In 2010, Arias Cristobal was brought to the United States illegally by her parents when she was only 4 years old. Her family moved from Mexico City to Dalton, about 30 minutes from the Tennessee-Georgia line. Because of her non-citizenship status, she was paying out-of-state tuition for school despite living in the area. She was arrested and charged with driving without a valid license and failure to obey traffic signals. She was transported to Whitfield County Jail, which partners with ICE and is used to identify illegal aliens in the country. She was processed through a federal database, confirmed to not be a U.S. citizen, was taken to ICE's Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, where her father, Jose Francisco Arias Tovar, is also being held. Arias Tovar was arrested last month when he was pulled over for driving 19 miles over the speed limit. The father, who owns his own company, was denied proper paperwork to remain in the U.S. It's not known if he applied to the citizenship. My dad has his own company. They called a lawyer to see if they could get a job permit or a visa. They said that he hadn't hit the status to get one, according to the younger sister. Now, here's the problem. Arias Cristobal has not been eligible for the DACA program, even though she was brought into the country a year after because she was brought into the country a year after the program ended. A GoFundMe account has been set up. Now, here's the way I want to approach this. And Gretchen, thanks for waiting. Thanks for the phone call. You have a father who is driving 19 miles over the speed limit who's an illegal alien. You have his daughter who did a no turn on red and then lied to the police about her driver's license. They're illegal aliens. They've lived here since 2010. The father started a business. Here's what I think is the correct response to this from the right, because I've seen some people laughing and gloating about this and they're getting what they deserve, blah, blah. I don't think that's the response here. I don't think that's a good response. And I think if you're going to be a jerk about it and gloat about it and laugh about it, as the propensity for some is, you're going to provoke a backlash because you're going to come across as cruel. And I think what's cruel is a system that lures people to this country allows them illegally to set up a business in this country that gives them false hope about their future, and they've broken the law. I think what's cruel is a system that fosters disrespect for the laws of the United States, such that they can stay here and can begin to disrespect the law so much it becomes so woven into them that even the traffic laws don't matter. 19 miles over the speed limit when you're an illegal alien. I've told this story before. I know a guy. He's not really a friend, but I know him. He used to work with me. He and his wife have a housekeeper. The housekeeper they know is an illegal alien. And she has been in this country since she was a child. And they have a great deal of compassion for this woman who has been in the country. And she, by the way, she's a middle-aged woman now. And she came here illegally in the 80s with her family before the Reagan amnesty. And her parents, or right after, they didn't qualify for it. She's been here for a long time. She pays all of her taxes. She files income taxes. She has a taxpayer ID number to be able to file taxes. She does not drive. She does not have a license. And they have commented to her about this before, and she says she broke the law coming here, or her parents broke the law bringing her here. It is the only country she knows. She has no memory of Guatemala, where she's from. She has no memory of it. She doesn't want to go back to Guatemala. She's never been to Guatemala since she was a child. But because she's here and she respects the United States, she doesn't want to break the laws of the United States. She pays her taxes. She hasn't attempted to get a driver's license. She hasn't tried to forge an identity. She doesn't drive. She takes public transportation because she doesn't want to be deported. She doesn't want to show disrespect to the country that has given her a life. And you could say, well, what life is it? She's asking. She makes good money. She lives in this house. She's now got a family. I believe the last time I checked on him, she's married and her husband's an American citizen. This is a tragic situation. This family came here. This girl is, for all intents and purposes, American. Zeminia Arias Cristobal. She's 19 years old. She's lived here for 15 of the last 19 years. She got out of high school. She's made it to community college. Her future was here. And she broke the law. And she lied to the police. And she's going to be deported. There's nothing to cheer here. And I just, again, if you're cheering this on, cheer the support of the law and order. But if you're gloating about this, if you're she got what she deserved, you're going to turn people against you for the callousness which you're handling the situation. You're not willing to have a level of sympathy to her plight. Recognize it's a tragic situation. Recognize that we in this country have built fallacies around the law for so long. This family was deluded into thinking that they could be here and behave just like you or me, when they can't. I've turned right on a no right on red sign before, and I've gotten pulled over by the police. You know what happened to me? Seriously, you know what happened to me? Guy said, "Aren't you on city council?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Here's your license. You can leave." I was back when I was on city council. I said, no, you can give me a ticket. I said, I didn't know the sign was there. He said, we're just giving warnings anyway. It was a new sign. I've never turned right on red there again. But she turned right on red, and she's going to be deported. That's tragic. And I support the decision to do so, because we have to respect the law. And if we want to change the law, change the law. If you want the law changed to be able to keep somebody like this here, work to change the law. You can work to change the law. There's a democratic process. We have elections. You can make your case. You can say there's got to be a level of comprehension and compassion in the law that doesn't exist right now. I support the law. I support the deportation. But I'm not going to cheer it on because it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that so many people, particularly in the Democratic Party, have fostered a mythology that the border doesn't matter and the laws don't matter, and you can come here and set up your life and it doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or not. Citizenship does matter. It's a tragedy that one of the two political parties in this country has chosen to devalue citizenship so much, it's got other Americans cheering on these sorts of stories as they seek to reimpose law and order. The whole thing's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that her father could come here and start a small business. How? How did he get the licensing? Because they turned a blind eye to him. Because so much of this was allowed to happen with the government choosing not to make eye contact with it. So much of this was allowed to happen because the government of the United States itself chose, and the state government chose, not to make eye contact with the problem, to turn a blind eye to it, and the system festered. And frankly, if you want to cast blame, don't cast blame at ICE or Kristi Noem or Tom Homan or Donald Trump. Cast blame at Joe Biden, who made the system so enfeebled and so awful and overwhelmed it so much that Joe Biden and the Democrats provoked the backlash. I hate that in many areas Cristobal is probably going to be deported. This is the country she knows and has the most memories of. She's lived here for 15 of her 19 years. She's a resident of the state of Georgia. She graduated from Georgia Public Schools. She's in community college in Georgia. She pays out-of-state tuition. She's paid the money. She's paid the bills. She's getting the degree. She made one screw up, and it's a tragedy. But what I would hate more is if we just decided to stop enforcing the laws. What would be a real tragedy if we decided, because of this one sad story, we decided we can't enforce the laws. Use this story as a morality tale for others that if you're here illegally and you're not going to self-deport, you better obey all the laws, including the basic traffic laws. There's no happiness here. There's no joy here. And it kind of disgusts me to see some people online cheering this on and haha, she got what she deserved. What she deserved was a nation that respected the rule of law enough that she couldn't have come here in the first place. What she deserved was a nation that respected the rule of law enough that she couldn't build her life as a mythology in the United States. What she and her family deserved was a nation that respected its borders so much that it provided a common sense solution by which these people who wish to come here and be Americans and work hard and make a living and improve our country could actually come with common sense and take the time to do the legal process. And none of that happened. And that's a problem because of the politicians. There's no gloating here on this situation. It's a tragedy. But the laws must be enforced, if not changed, or you will increasingly have further disrespect for the law. And a nation that does not respect its laws and enforce its laws is not for much longer a nation.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plane...
21 in the Cool-Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Got some leftover road work by the home of the Braves. 285 South. We're on the outer loop at South Atlanta Road, exit 16. Got some overhead bridge work blocking the right lane. Just a bit of a slowdown approaching I-20 on the west side. And the volume downtown starting to take shape for the afternoon. 75, 85 north and south. Seeing the brake lights from East Point through the heart of downtown all the way up into Midtown. This is sponsored by the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is the best deal in fast food for a lot of reasons. Some of which include a JBC 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. For the best deal of all time, got to be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is help. Help. H-E-L-P. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is help. H-E-L-P. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
Smash burgers are all the rage these days. I love to make them too. I got one of those Weber griddles, and you could just make them, and gosh, they're crispy, they're thin. Stack two of them together, put cheese between both of them. Your family loves them. Omaha Steaks right now is going to give you 16 free smash burgers with their Built for the Grill pack. You go to omahasteaks.com/smash, S-M-A-S-H. You can make them in a skillet, you can make them on the grill, you can make them on the griddle if you got a griddle, and they turn out perfect however you do them. They're flavorful, they're beefy, they are 100% premium aged Omaha Steaks beef for exceptional quality and flavor from America's Butcher. Get ready to smash expectations with the new Omaha Steak Burgers. Go to omahasteaks.com/smash. Order the Built for the Grill pack. You'll get 16 free smash burgers. That's 16 free smash burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details. Y'all, these are amazing.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This is Scott Slade. Nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. Like me. My doctor saw one lab work number that led to a diagnosis early enough, so I still had options. Now, that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation. Virtual imaging's LD CT whole body scan can be invaluable, giving you time and options for early treatment. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their LDCT body scan for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Now, appointments must be scheduled in May. There are a limited number of scans available at this price, so a few minimum requirements may apply. Don't put this off. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Belinda Skelton here with Atlanta Vision Institute's very own Dr. Ashraf, who is one of the most experienced eye surgeons in the country. Dr. Ashraf, we've all watched the news and the economy is uncertain, but failing eyesight isn't. And if you've held back due to finances, we've got good news for you, don't we?
Yes, Belinda, as you know, our eyesights degrade as we age. And with the laser optics procedure, that resets all of that. And most of my patients go most of the day without glasses. They can even read their phone without glasses. And in terms of the economy, most of these patients, their medical insurance can cover most of the costs. And if it doesn't, we have a lot of good financing options for this procedure.
That's awesome, Dr. Ashraf. I urge you to take the quiz to see if you're a candidate. Go to 2020atlanta.com. That's 2020atlanta.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, let's go to Dave. Welcome, Dave, to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
Good, Eric. How about yourself?
Great.
Hey, I just wanted to follow up on citizenship. You know, Victor Davis Hanson wrote this book called The Dying Citizen. And under the Obama administration, citizenship meant nothing. They prioritized the illegal alien over the citizen. And it seems that maybe we're getting our priorities back in order, that this country is going to value citizenship, even as we as citizens should value the fact that we are in the greatest country of the world.
Yeah, look, that's so well said, David. You know, I should plug the ericforhillsdale.com site. Victor Davis Hanson actually has a class on citizenship based on his book that you can take, and he's right. Citizenship has to matter. It mattered greatly to Rome. I mean, you know, one of the undercurrent plot points in the New Testament is that Paul is a citizen of the Roman Empire and was treated in a way that citizens weren't supposed to be treated, and actually is able to make his way to Rome to have his case heard by the emperor. He ultimately gets executed, but he's executed not in a crucifixion or a brutal way. He's beheaded, which was actually the more humane way to kill people in the Roman Empire, but because the Romans valued citizenship. The book of Philippians is written to Philippi, where it's a Roman citizen colony in Greece, and that citizenship matters. And we in the West, not just the United States, but Europe as well, and developed nations have over time devalued what it means to be actually a citizen of a country as opposed to just a person. And we've got to get back to recognizing that borders matter and citizenship matters because we, at the end of the day, are still sovereign nations. We're not a one world order government, as some people have feared we would become over time. Citizenship ultimately matters. And Europeans are having to deal with this, where they've tried to make a European citizen. And you know what? The citizens of the individual countries are having a backlash against it because it matters. You know, with banks collapsing and interest rates the way they are, gold prices are just skyrocketing right now. Swiss America has been the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years in this country, and they've been warning people about a secret war on cash. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from the secret war, you need to listen for a great free report. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can educate you on protecting your assets in their report, The Secret War on Cash. You can get a copy of it by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The report takes less than 15 minutes to read. You can save your retirement and finances. You get a completely free copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. Your crypto is at stake with what the government is doing. Find out the details with Swiss America. Call or text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. The report's completely free. 800-289-2646. One more time, 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Former Atlanta Archbishop Wilton Gregory is among the cardinals speaking today about the new pope. Cardinal Gregory hopes the election of Pope Leo XIV will be a sign of unity for the world.
We can reach across our differences in culture, language, country, nationality, and work together to solve the problems that are there.
Gregory served as Archbishop of Atlanta until 2019. Pope Leo held his first Mass this morning. Marietta police nabbed 2 murder suspects from Memphis, Tennessee, hiding out in metro Atlanta. They were arrested at a home on Crest Ridge Drive. While searching the home, investigators also discovered drugs in plain sight. 4 people are arrested. All face drug charges in Marietta. The 2 murder suspects will likely go back to Memphis to face charges there. A train derailment is under investigation in Cobb County. CSX says 17 rail cars on one of its trains went off the tracks near Campbell Road and Nancy Circle in Smyrna just after 2 this morning. The company says no hazardous materials were released and there's no threat to the surrounding community. No injuries are reported. Ahead of the 2026 World Cup, a busy MARTA station in downtown Atlanta is getting a new name.
It has been proposed that the name of the Georgia World Congress Center CNN rail station be changed to the Sports, Entertainment, and Convention District Rail Station also known as the SEC District Station.
MARTA board member Thomas Worthy says it's a needed change with recent developments near the Georgia World Congress Center and State Farm Arena. New signs and rail maps are expected to be changed by the end of the year. It is 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
This is Scott Slade. Nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. Like me. My doctor saw one lab work number that led to a diagnosis early enough, so I still had options. That's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation. Virtual imaging's LD CT whole body scan can be invaluable, giving you time and options for early treatment. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is offering their LDCT body scan for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Now, appointments must be scheduled in May. There are a limited number of scans available at this price, so a few minimum requirements may apply. Don't put this off. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
The foods we eat can be downright bad for our health. This is Sue from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minute. I have a degree in food science, and for more than 30 years, I've been teaching the truth about real bread. Not the stuff you buy at the store. I'm talking real bread made with freshly milled flour. When you buy bread from the store, take a look at the ingredients. Enriched flour means that the nutritious bran and germ has been removed to improve the shelf life. Then a few B vitamins and iron are added back to replace the multitude of nutrients lost. That's not enrichment in my book. And today, that label may even read contains bioengineered food ingredients. Food should never be bioengineered. At Bread Beckers in Woodstock, we can teach you how to make real bread loaded with fiber and nutrients. A delicious, healthy, affordable solution that can improve your health and change your life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
You still want a new deck on your house, but you think you may have missed a deck building window? Well, you're wrong. Dave Baker here. At Ben Hill Renovations, deck building goes on year-round. Whether your existing deck is old, rotting, and unsafe, or you just want to upgrade your outdoor living space, now is the perfect time to get the ball rolling. Check out their new website at bhrenovations.com. Better yet, go to their showroom, speak with the designer, and see all that they have to offer up close. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
At 2:34, Andrew Seco in the traffic center.
And dealing with some new trouble on the southeast side. Get a crash into center lane 285 south the inner loop at Memorial Drive. That's exit number 41. Delays mixing with the volume back towards Spaghetti Junction. We're at 85 meets 285 in a cab. And a center lane crash on the west side of things right under the bridge. I-20 westbound getting past 285 exit 51. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy for today, high 81, lows tonight in the low 60s. Tomorrow, rain showers through the morning and afternoon hours, high 65. The rain continues for Sunday, morning low 58, afternoon high 67.
78 in Ackworth, it's 81 in Mableton, and 82 in Tucker. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Smart, fearless, and occasionally funny. You're listening to The Erick Erickson Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Erick Erickson broadcasting to you from the Sand Hills region of North Carolina. Southern Pines, our affiliate WEEB, kind enough to host me today, doing a listener event here tonight in Aberdeen, North Carolina. The phone number this open line Friday, 877-973-7425. And I'm going to go to Mike up next. Welcome to the show, Mike. How are you?
Mr. Erickson.
Welcome.
Hello. Yes, thank you for taking my call, sir.
Sure.
I have three quick questions for you about the young lady that was pulled over for the international driver's license. I'll make them real quick, and then you can answer off the air, sir. One, if her father had a business here, why did he not apply for citizenship for his whole family? Number two is, how does this young lady get a tagged vehicle to drive on the road without a driver's license. And 3 is, if she was telling the police officers she had an international driver's license, she was coached.
Probably so, and she didn't. It was not real. And Mike, so I'm getting flooded, just so y'all know, with emails from people with these sorts of questions. How did she get a car? How was their insurance on the car? I don't know the answer to any of these questions. And there are a lot of questions about this. And I want to be clear here. Georgia is a state where if you are an illegal alien, you're not getting a driver's license. In fact, one of the things we have seen, a buddy of mine who works in D.C. pointed this out to me, and I didn't believe him until it happened to us. You know, there's been a massive spike in insurance rates in the country, auto insurance rates in particular. Auto insurance rates in the United States have gone up higher than even the rate of inflation, and they've stabilized all of a sudden. And he said this is one of the unwritten things that's happening in the country. It's one of the unspoken things that's happening in the country. And insurance companies didn't want to get into it because they didn't want to be attacked by the Biden administration, but they were jacking up rates because of the illegal aliens in the country. Because many of them, they don't have car insurance, and they're all driving. Many of them are driving and they don't respect the rules of the road. They don't know the rules of the road. And so insurance companies have been driving up auto insurance rates. They said that actually their data, he works for a think tank, he says their data and their private conversations with insurance companies shows that the reason automobile insurance has been going up so high in this country is largely the illegal immigrant population. Because part of it is electric vehicles. They're so much harder to replace, and there are more of them on the road. But he said disproportionately, it's illegal immigrants on the road is causing auto insurance rates to go up. Because if you get hit by an illegal immigrant, they don't have car insurance, your uninsured motorist is going to have to cover it. And you will note it is probably not a coincidence at all that auto insurance rates have stabilized with the massive deportation effort by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saving us money by deporting illegal immigrants. I do not know how you get. I don't know how you start a business unless it's cash only. Maybe it's a cash only business. I don't know. I don't know how you, as an illegal immigrant, are able to start a business in the United States. You're able to pay people to work for you. How do your kids get cars and insurance? They're driving without licenses. It's none of that makes sense to me. And when you start at the very beginning, you don't respect the laws of the United States. And you go from not respecting the laws of the United States to operating as if the laws don't apply to you, to frankly, and this is not me attributing it to this girl or her family. But you know that this will happen with the attitudes of the Democrats in charge, that there probably will become, if not already be, a class of illegal immigrant in this country that thinks the laws don't apply to me. I have special privileges and special protections. I don't think that's the case here. I'm not going to impute that it's the case here, but you and I know that can happen when the Democrats are so aggressively in defense of illegal immigration. And as I mentioned yesterday, the House and Senate Democrats are now having closed-door meetings in Washington, D.C. with strategists who are telling them, y'all got to start supporting restrictions on immigration. It's killing you with Hispanic voters. And that is the thing I need every person listening right now, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, moderate, independent. I need every single person here to understand something. This is the God's honest truth, whether you believe it or not. The people in the United States of America who are most hostile to illegal immigration are Hispanic Americans who did it the right way. Legal immigrants to the United States are overwhelmingly hostile to illegal immigration, and it was the simple jack approach of the Democrats to, if you watch Tropic Thunder, you know, to immigration, where they dumbed it down to a racial issue where, if we support illegal immigration, those are mostly Hispanic people, the Hispanics will support us. No, that was stupid. It was always stupid. Because Hispanic voters view themselves mostly as Americans, and the longer they stay here, they more often identify as white. Remember, it was the Trayvon Martin situation back in the day in Florida, where he got shot by George Zimmerman, who he was a white Hispanic, black Hispanic. I didn't even know they did that. That was the very first time I'd ever heard of it. And all of a sudden, you start hearing people be, well, he was a white Hispanic. Really? Suddenly, now we're going to bring race into ethnicity. But the reality is, the longer Hispanic families stay in the United States, the more they identify as Republicans, as white, as conservatives, and particularly those who come here who are evangelicals, they're the most hardcore conservatives in America. They're also the most likely to have large families in this country. Demographically, as this country evolves over time, we're going to be a nation of country music listening Hispanics who vote Republican. Demography is not destiny. That destiny that was designed to have a racial demographic shift to the Democratic Party isn't showing up. It's the Democrats who are becoming Republicans who are non-white because the uppity, income, wealthy, white, progressive women of America have gone into the Democratic Party and insisted their sons identify as girls to get the scholarships of the young black girls who are trying to go to college on an athletic scholarship. It's insane that the Democratic Party has allowed this infesting of a breakdown of the rule of law over borders. And it is insane that a family can live here as long as that family lived here 15 years and get just comfortable enough to say, you know what, the rules of the road don't matter. I mean, forget the daughter turning right on red. That happens a lot in this country. The father going 19 miles over the speed limit. That's just what's going on in our society. It's a tragedy. All right, back to the phones. David, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show, David.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my call. I want to talk to you about the Jewish minority in America is only 3%. And that 3% as a minority give back to society more than any minority in America. We give back, with hospitals, even here in Atlanta, you got the Alto Blanc and Barry Marcos doing two hospitals here in Atlanta, and they give to Hadassah Hospital, all over. Bloomberg just gave $100 million to John Hopkins. I mean, they to whole United States of America, Jewish people give back to society, not just money and arts and science and everything else. And if you check the history, and any time they chasing Jewish people from that country collapsed after so many years. If it's a Spanish Inquisition, if it's in Russia, if it's in Germany, if it's in Austria, all those countries collapsed when they chase Jews away from those countries. So this anti-Semitism in America gotta stop, because that's not really, help them.
Listen, Michael, I totally agree with you and have been strongly, stridently in opposition to the coddling of these students on campus. And by the way, this is actually a perfect tie-in to the illegal immigration situation. Look at the number of students who come into the country who are hostile to the values of the United States, who go to these college campuses, who decide that they're going to protest and harass Jews and others. It's the same sort of thing. The Democrats coddled all of these groups. A class of illegal alien who comes into this country doesn't respect our laws, and a class of foreign-born student visa categorized people who come into the country, go to colleges. They hate Jews. They hate this country. I played the audio the other day and put it in the show notes of the student at Temple University, the president of the Students for Justice in Palestine, who said that one of the goals of the group is to destroy the United States. And we let this person come here. Then what was so remarkable are the other kids on this call, some of whom were native-born American citizens who agreed with them. This is part and parcel, part of what is festering within the Democratic Party. And it's why, as much as Trump's popularity may be going down with the public overall, everybody would still rather vote for him than vote for these people. Richard, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show, Richard.
Oh, hey, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Hey, yeah, so the story about the girl, turning right on red, it really brought me back to an instance that I kind of forgot. I was in college. I had to have been 2013, 14, so 11, 12 years ago. One of my best girlfriends and her roommate were going out on a trip. The roommate was driving, very similar. I think it was a turn on red or a failure to yield. And she decides to tell her, oops, hey, while we're getting pulled over, I'm actually illegal. So I need you to take my car, take my purse. Here's my mom's number. And I just remember thinking, like, this is so wild. And, the girl was kind of a homebody. She stayed in her apartment most of the time. But, I mean, she was very, very talented. She was in all the art shows, all the galleries. And I guess it just brings the bigger question, like, how does that happen? How, without any documentation, are you able to become a student at a statewide university?
I genuinely have no idea. It is continuously wild to me. Now, I know in this case she was paying out-of-state tuition, wasn't paying in-state tuition, but I mean, what steps were taken to be able to? I don't know. There are so many unanswered questions here, Richard. That I mean, and again, this is why I feel so bad about the situation, because an entire system was designed to validate this family's existence in this country that should have never been allowed to be set up, so that they could feel comfortable here as illegal immigrants. And I'm glad they wanted to come here and make a life here, but at the same time, there's a system for them to do so, and they not only bypassed it, but the policies in place in this country allowed them to think they made a good choice in doing so. And now they're finding out it wasn't a good choice. Bill, you're going to be the last caller. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
I guess I might be being a little Pollyanna-ish, if that's the word, about this. Why can't we, Eric, firmly put our minds to developing a kind of an analyzation of some of this? I know it's changed through the years, but that story you told, this gal wasn't like one of these drug carriers coming in, or these thieves that get into the mix of these people coming across our borders. And by the way, this goes back decades to various administrations too. Why can't we develop a system to make their gaining citizenship a little easier? I never hear that process mentioned, and it should be. I don't know what it takes. It should take just a week or two, seems to me. We need to do that to get away from these sad stories.
We should be getting away from the sad stories. You're right, Bill. And if Congress is going to have to act, and Congress doesn't want to act, because for a long time, let's just be real here, both sides have politicized the system in ways that they think advantage themselves. And the Democrats finally crossed a line that has provoked a public backlash. Congress could and should probably find paths forward that are common sense, but I resent, like L, the idea that we should be prioritizing the assimilation of illegal immigrants into this country over those who want to come here legally and do it the right way. There are ways to allow people who have come here, who have made their lives here illegally, to go back to their countries, repatriate, and file a process to come back into this country. And I am a firm believer still in the idea that if you've been here now for 40 years as an illegal immigrant, we probably should just say you're never going to get citizenship. We'll allow you to stay, but you're never getting citizenship. But if you come here, particularly during the Biden years or the Obama years and sooner, yeah, you got to be deported. You've got to go back and start the process over. If you've been here since Carter or Reagan, we'll let you stay. You're never getting citizenship so long as you've paid taxes and otherwise comply with the law. But if you're here in the last 10, 15 years, no, you got to go get in line and come back into this country. We've got people who want to be here legally. There are ways to do it, but Congress has got to get involved. Congress has got to stop kicking the can down the road or passing the buck to the executive, who doesn't have the power to change the law. Now, you've got the power to change your computer, and your computer may need more power, and that's a perfect way to go to Vision Computers. Go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. You're going to save some money. They can build you a new computer. They can upgrade your existing computer. Don't go to the one-size-fits-all big box store. That computer is probably not a good fit for you. It's a good fit for the common person. You've got special needs. Vision will interview you about what needs you want, what you aspire to, and they'll build you a computer that meets those needs. And then you get their world-class customer service. So if you ever have a question, not just a problem, but a question, how do I do something? You call a special number, 15 seconds less, faster than Google search. They're going to be able to tell you. They can even remote in to set up your computer, fix it up, you get your email working, your printer support, you name it. And if you just need the tech support, call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You get $179 a year. You might get a discount if you mention my name, and you can get their tech support.
It's fantastic. If you buy the computer from them, you get the tech support for free. It's 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Now, here's the thing. With tariffs in play now, you're going to have prices going up on technology. Vision can navigate that system to get you the best deal. Others aren't going to be able to do that. Make your technology upgrades with Vision Computers. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
251 on the Cool Ray Carrier. Traffic center volume in and out of downtown still making it tough. 75, 85 north and south. The brake lights northbound starting at East Point. Southbound, we're feeling the pinch back in Brookhaven. Just south of 400 on 85 proper. And a new travel advisory rolling through Buford. Only a right lane open. 985 northbound just north of Buford Drive. You may want to consider using Buford Highway as a quick bypass. This word sponsored by Active Pest Control. Termites are one of the most destructive pests. Let Active Pest Control develop a custom termite control plan for your home. For a free quote, visit activepestcontrol.com today. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Are you serious? The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
OMG! Oh my goodness!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app.
Your next chance to win is coming up at 5.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz
on 95.5 WSB.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Serving my country required sacrifice. Sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's army of activists and let your voice be heard. Text ARMY to 33777.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Okay, so I got to make an observation. We're sitting here, WEB. We're talking about there's an account on Instagram. I follow Amalfi Jets, and they have all these stories, and I'm sure they're all staged, and it's all in the same voice, but it's all the problems of rich people flying private. I've got to make an observation. Having now spent several days in Sea Island, Georgia, which is, for those of you unfamiliar with it, probably one of the nicest, ritziest places in the country. I'm always deeply uncomfortable going there because it's like the really wealthy people who put their 3-year-olds in Ralph Lauren and their kid's going to be outgrown the shirt in 3 months, and like, why didn't you just go to Walmart and get them a shirt? Yet they got to show off the money with how they dress their kids. And I've noticed something distinctly. When my family travels, particularly my daughter's 19, when we travel to most places, we're not staying at fancy places. And when we check in, it's very obvious this is my daughter. But when we go to really, really fancy places, they always think she's my wife. And one, it creeps me out. But two, what is it about ultra wealthy dudes who bring their flashy like fifth wives to these families or these mysteries? It's the weirdest thing. Literally everywhere we went, I was finding myself making these little passive comments about if your mom were here or what have you, because these people thought my daughter was my wife. Why is that in ritzy places? There's something deeply, dementedly weird about the lifestyles of the rich and famous. I mean, you go to Dollywood, everybody knows she's my daughter. You come to Pinehurst, they know she's my daughter. But you go to Ritzyville in California, you go to Beverly Hills or something, and it's, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Erickson. No, it's Miss. She's my daughter. Don't offer her alcohol. She's underage. I mean, we were sitting at a restaurant. And they asked her if she wanted a cocktail. And I looked at her like, she's 19. And then I was like, and it's my daughter. I'm not like marrying someone that young. It's like, I'm evangelical, but not that denomination. It just absolutely was wild to me. This is happening. And it only happens in the super rich places. You go to anywhere that the middle class visits, everybody gets it. She's my kid. I don't understand. I mean, I would love to be that wealthy, but not that dementedly wealthy, and my wife would murder me. There's no way I could have a second Mrs. Erickson. I'd be buried in the backyard under the roses. Do you guys have a great weekend? I'll talk to you on Monday.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I've talked about the possibility of stagflation, and that's where, because of tariffs, the cost of goods go up and the economy slows, potentially going into a recession. And then there's a lot of alarmists out there, including surveys that show that the average consumer thinks that inflation is going to hit almost 7% next year. And at the same time, others talking about us going in a really deep recession. The reality is it's not going to play like that. Either if the economy collapses, we have a really bad recession, but prices won't also go up a whole lot. Or if prices go up a whole lot, it means that the economy has stayed strong and we're not going to have a recession. But this, although it's a rough ride with tariffs, is not Armageddon. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. Get ready for a summer of extensive road work in Metro Atlanta. Here's a report all new at 3 o'clock.
With major Atlanta events like the World Cup on the horizon, transportation officials say now is the time to make needed repairs to area roads. Natalie Dale with the Georgia DOT says the downtown connector, I-285, I-20, and more will all get fresh asphalt this summer.
If you can drive it, if you can have the map of the perimeter, if you can throw a dart, you're going to hit an area that we're going to be resurfacing.
Atlanta DOT also plans to pave a list of city roads. They'll carry out work during the day while GDOT will pave at night. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
83 degrees in Atlanta. It could be a wet weekend, which includes Mother's Day.
It'll bring widespread rain showers, and the rain will be consistent for Saturday, Sunday into Monday.
Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A roundtable discussion in Atlanta today to talk about the potential impact of cuts to programs helping vulnerable kids.
Parents whose Medicaid grants help their 10-month-old with leukemia. A mother whose twins' access to Head Start lets her earn a living during the day. Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson says he's hearing firsthand what Republican program cuts could jeopardize.
It's a very serious dilemma our country faces now. Are we going to invest in people, or are we going to give tax cuts to those at the top?
He's also struck by how many medical and service provider livelihoods are at stake.
There's so many people whose jobs it is to deliver these services.
Johnson says he's fighting to keep these programs. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Murder suspects from Memphis hiding in Metro Atlanta are arrested in Marietta. Officer Chuck McPhillamy with Marietta Police says they were found at a home on Crest Ridge Drive, and that's not all.
While our investigators were